You're like on top of me, and so we're wrestling. We're wrestling, and then you change and you start wrestling my buddy Andy, and you're wrestling him, and you guys get on the ground. You guys are now on the ground wrestling, and so I pull out a cigarette, I light a cigarette, and I'm smoking it, and you stop, and you come over to me, and you grab it, and you crinkle it, and you go, "These things will kill you," and you threw it. And then I go, "Dude," "I'm not rich. You're rich. I have to cigarettes are expensive in New York City." I yell, and all of a sudden your face changed, and you looked sad. And then you left.
Yeah. Nice to see you.
And then 5 minutes later, you come back with a fresh pack of Parliaments, and you hand them to me, and you go, "Here," and I go, "That was really sweet. You want me to die."
So that's how they met at a bar, apparently. He said it was a weird bar. They had a mutual friend who, he said he looks like a Viking, that started a bar in a shipping container, and you had to bring your own drinks, and then he would charge you to get
What kind of a bar
back.
do you have to bring your own drinks to?
One that would definitely not fly today. There's too many regulations with health code. So they said after that, they hopped in. Fallon had a driver, so they hopped in his car, and they went to another bar, which he said was like one door down. So he was just flexing that he had a car. And then they get in, and it's a gay bar. And the only reason you know that is because at 8 o'clock, the bartender takes his shirt off. And then he said, I think that was it. And then they both black out or something like that.
I'm just surprised they didn't. There must have been some sort of an agreement beforehand on the topics that were off limit. And maybe politics was one of those topics, because that seems like the obvious thing that people were curious to see how they would handle that. And it's interesting that they decided not to address it.
Well, I would think that you're coming on to the show, and you are, even though you're on cable news, you're someone that is also on in the similar time slot, not exact, but similar, doing the same type of idea of a show. Even though Fallon was around first, Gutfeld definitely is more successful when it comes to total viewership.
Oh, yeah.
So that plays a factor. And that didn't even come up. The fact that he had a show on Fox didn't come up, other than the game show, which they definitely played some clips from. And it seemed like the audience was like, they're not into it. Like, you heard a couple of laughs there, but I'm telling you, those laughs were few and far between in some of the other stories. The game show idea, Greg got fired a lot. And it almost felt like Jimmy felt he was doing this interview, not that because he wanted to.
He was forced to.
He felt like, I'm just going to try to make the best out of this and see where it goes.
Well, is it sad that Jimmy Fallon's ratings probably went up because Gutfeld was on his show? It wouldn't be the same. Like, if Fallon went on Gutfeld's show, it wouldn't have an impact on ratings. In fact, if anything, it could have the opposite impact.
Yeah, it was the only reason I decided to seek out the audio clips. And then I went to our good old trusty audio website. They only had one clip on there, so I had to go onto YouTube, is where they post the full interview. And it was like 10-minute interview. So, I mean, that's a pretty good amount of airtime, I felt, for the guest. And then they preview coming up, Good Charlotte.
Good Charlotte. Are they still a thing? Yeah, I've not heard of Good Charlotte since I was a teenager.
No, it's been a long time. So I guess these legacy groups are really starting to make Blink-182 and Offspring are just like killing it on the concert trail right now. So Good Charlotte's thinking to themselves, they want in.
Better get in on this.
On that money train. Well, it's a Friday, and we got a lot to get to, including Israel saying they will proceed to occupy the entire Gaza Strip. Let's talk about that coming up after the break. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Marc Cox, 97.1 FM Talk.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare and the bombs bursting in air gave star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look good on the roads. Happy Friday. Good morning. We've got light traffic out there. East on 70, 64, 40, and 44, all in good shape. No delays on the Missouri or Illinois sides at this hour. Yep, we are off to a good start. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
If you've got electrical needs, I want you to go see my friends at Grasser Electric. Shane and Josh Grasser celebrating 50 years in the business. And if you need good electricians, Sean has been coming over to help me now for a couple of years. He's rewired a hot tub for me a couple of times because we just got done moving, and they've helped us with, the ground fault interrupters in the bathroom. Anything you're doing at your home that deals with electricity, you need an expert. I want you to call my friends at Grasser Electric. Here's the phone number, 636-441-5200. I give you that because when an emergency strikes and you don't know who to call, you're going to ask friends for a phone number. Here it is, 636-441-5200. Put it in your phone under electrician, and you are taken care of because they answer that number 24 hours a day. Go online as well to grasserelectric.com and tell them Marc Cox sent you.
From the gateway city to the front lines of freedom, this is the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Once there was a way to get back homeward. Once there was a way to get back home. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry.
Your
Welcome back.
soldiers have been accused of killing innocent Gazans who are in line for food. That's the accusation, almost on a daily basis. Can you defend that?
Yeah, I could deny it because it's a Hamas accusation. They're the ones often who are doing the shooting and waiting for our soldiers to respond. And in fact, very often they don't respond. But all these stories are repeated ad nauseum, and the people don't even bother to check the facts. We're doing everything that we can to avoid civilian casualties.
And this is something that is consistent with the people that we've talked to as well, the reality of the situation. So you have certain news networks that are talking about the humanitarian crisis where they show starving children and they say this is because of Israel. But is the question really, are they double checking that? Are they looking for why that is the case? Are they really stopping it, or is this more Hamas propaganda? So what we find, and I forgot who we talked to, and was it someone from Heritage? I don't, maybe Jim Talent. When we asked him at one point, we asked him, "Hey, what's really going on here?" And he said, "Well, keep in mind, a lot of the humanitarian aid is coming from a third-party source, meaning non-governmental, dropping this off, and they're telling us that Hamas is intercepting, stealing, and then withholding this either for their own people, for their soldiers, or for selling it for whatever reason. And it's definitely not Israel that's doing this."
Mm-hmm.
So keep in mind, the aid is coming from somewhere else who can give us an unbiased account of how it is getting plundered. And they're all saying it's Hamas. So I think Benjamin Netanyahu is telling the truth here.
Yeah, it would also just be to Hamas's benefit to steal the food, because then they can release those images of those children who look, really tiny and starved, and then it tugs at the heartstrings of everybody. And then they, of course, can say, well, this is because Israel's not giving, our people, the Palestinians, the food. And like you
Yeah.
said, people aren't double checking that information. But it's interesting because and Mark made this point, I think is a good one, and that is that there was a picture of a baby that went viral, and I guess it's the mom holding the child. The mom looked fine. She looked fed. The baby looked starved. But I mean, as a dad, there's no way if you had one piece of bread, you would not eat that bread yourself. You would give it to your child, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why would the mom then not be starved, but the baby is?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think the most likely scenario is they probably use that child as a prop. Probably not,
Exactly.
and they might not even be related to that
Right.
woman. And I mean, keep in mind, this is the same organization, Hamas, that would use women and children as shields
Mm-hmm.
for bullets in order to try to stop attacks while they're shooting back at you. I
Right.
mean, this is the cowards that we're talking about that would hide in hospitals
Yes.
and operate in them because they realize that if we do this, they're less likely to stop our operations.
Yeah.
They are definitely a terrible, terrible organization, and this is the reality of what's happening there if these major networks want to admit it or not. So this is part of what Benjamin Netanyahu is planned. He says essentially on Fox News, Bill Hemmer was sat down, did an interview. I think this was over in Israel, and was asking him, quite frankly, what is the plan here? So this is clip number 14, if we can play that.
So we put.
Will Israel take control of all of Gaza?
We intend to, in order to assure our security, remove Hamas there, enable the population to be free of Gaza, and to pass it to civilian governance. That is not Hamas and not anyone advocating the destruction of Israel. That's what we want to do. We want to liberate ourselves and liberate the people of Gaza from the awful terror of Hamas. And you were in the Gaza Strip today. You met Palestinians who are fighting Hamas because finally they see that they have a future. They can rid themselves of this awful tyranny that not only holds our hostages, but holds 2 million Palestinians in Gaza hostage. That's got to end.
Are you saying today that you will take control of the entire 26-mile Gaza Strip, as it was 20 years ago to this month in 2005?
Well, we don't want to keep it. We want to have a security perimeter. We don't want to govern it. We don't want to be there as a governing body. We want to hand it over to Arab forces that will govern it properly without threatening us and giving Gazans a good life.
So there's a few things he says there that I think is important to point out. And one where I actually would, this is one that I would double check on. So he mentions that there are Palestinians who are welcoming them to come in and take over the situation. I'm guessing they're in the minority there. I'm guessing they are very low down the totem pole in the sense that there's probably not a lot of them because most of them fear for their lives to openly say that they don't like Hamas. I mean, it would be like a death sentence if someone found out you said that in that occupied area. So I don't know if they went to go visit and they heard people asking for it. They may be overplaying that card. But ultimately speaking, when all you know is the propaganda and the, I mean, iron fist where they'll chop your head off type of mentality, then I don't know how many of them were openly asking for Israel to come in. But number two, the other thing that I think is good to point out is that Israel has been consistent with their opposition to everything that's going on. They haven't really gone around changing their minds, which goes to show you the strategy is there to begin with. And the consistency is something that I think plays in their favor when it comes to their truthfulness, their intentions, which I think is important because they're not just going out there and throwing whatever against the wall and seeing what works. They've had this plan, I think, from the very beginning that they got to eradicate Hamas. You can't have your partner as a terrorist across the river and then expect them to just stop trying to kill you. So I believe Benjamin Netanyahu here.
I do too. My only question would be he's talking about how they don't want to govern it, which I don't blame them, but he's saying, okay, we want some Arab nations to govern it. Okay, well, there has been tension between Israel, the Jews in Israel, and these Arab countries dating back since before Jesus was around. So I think that's my question is he's saying we'd like some of these Arab nations to govern where they're providing a good life more or less for the Palestinians, but there's a security, like a perimeter for us and they're not trying to attack us. But I question if that will always be the case. If you have the Arab nations in charge of Gaza, how is there not going to be some sort of tension? It's been going on for thousands of years.
Yeah.
It's not a
I can
terrorist
see
group,
that.
but still, there's tension there.
Yeah, they might not like each other, and they may, be in competition with each other. It's a lot different than them throwing bombs across
Right.
over and over and over again. And when they run out of bombs, them throwing, I guess, lighting kites on fire to try to start building fires on the other side, floating things over. This is the type of stuff they're having to deal with on a daily basis. When we get here in the United States an alert from the National Weather Service on our phone, hey, there's a thunderstorm warning, better take cover. When we get those type of warnings on our phone, we're annoyed by them. We're like, oh, this is so stupid. Like, again, I'm gonna go run down to the basement for a thunderstorm. Like, be real here. Or it's in the middle of the night, it's 3 a.m. and you get a Amber Alert and you're like, yeah, like I'm gonna run out at 3 a.m. and start looking for a license plate. You start to roll your eyes, but imagine living in Israel where you get several alerts a day that there is a missile headed in your direction.
Yeah.
And that's the reality they have to live with when there is a terrorist as your neighbor. And then you look at Western media who are sympathizing with Hamas, the terrorist organization. Shame on all those people that are sympathizing with them. And this is a terrible humanitarian crisis self-imposed by them in order to give them more justification to continue their terrorist ways. It's absolutely horrific. You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm Maria Bartiromo, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Fast food giant Wendy's reports earnings this morning following an upbeat quarter from McDonald's and mostly better than expected earnings from Burger King's parent Restaurant Brands. Investors will be looking for an update on how Wendy's breakfast business is holding up. D.R. Barton of Woodshaw Financial Group says there are signs the S&P could see some volatility in the next couple of months, though he believes investors are relieved to have another tariff deadline in the past.
I think we've been worried about these tariffs, the effects of the tariffs, and now we say, hey, we can go forward and still play ball in all areas.
Also reporting earnings today, cannabis company Canopy Growth, Under Armour, and AMC Networks. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda, invested in you.
Sponsored by AxeCap Ventures. America, listen up. Gold prices are breaking records. With inflation raging and central banks hoarding, every American should own gold. And like President Trump said, whoever holds the gold makes the rules. AxeCap Ventures owns one of Nevada's largest undeveloped gold deposits and trades for pennies on the dollar. This could be your way to ride the gold boom. AxeCap trades under GARLF on the OTC. Visit axecapventures.ca today.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We look great on the roads. In fact, northbound 55 looks fine through multiple construction zones this morning, from down south into downtown. Starting at 6 this morning on 6440 in the city, they're going to close one eastbound lane from 22nd Street to 6th Street. That eastbound lane will be closed until 2 this afternoon for some road work. Yep, right now we are in great shape throughout the area, Missouri and Illinois side. This report brought to you by Infinite Vitality. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Tired of aging skin? Infinite Vitality reverses collagen loss, tightens with Morpheus and microneedling, and fades age spots. Look naturally younger, not plastic. Visit infinite-vitality.com. Mention Annie for a $50 credit.
You know the best thing about a good friend, you can always depend on them. They're there for you day or night. Anytime that you need them, you can call them. And honestly, your garage door is always there for you too, whether it's raining or shining outside. You take your garage door for granted. Don't do that anymore. If it's screeching, if it's whining for attention, trust the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, as I do, to keep that garage door working and working reliably. 314-781-5200 is the number. Maybe that old weather stripping needs to be replaced. You know, that really helps. It keeps the cold and the hot air out. It keeps pests from getting into your garage. You call them at 314-781-5200. If that thing's not working, you're going to have a hard time getting your car in or out. They do same-day service, and you can trust them to be there. They are never going to leave you stuck. You can always schedule your service online. Tell them Marc Cox sent you. It's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
At Ruler Foods, savings are as easy as 1, 2, 3, and we mean it. Step 1, $1 each. Grab Kroger Snack Medleys, Chef Boyardee, canned pasta, Banquet pot pies, Big K 2 liters, or Kroger cut and peeled baby carrots, just $1. $2, stock up on Kroger graham crackers, toaster treats, Pringles, or Kroger deli salads. Tasty deals for just $2. And for $3, fill your cart with Kroger corn dogs, lunch meat tubs, or giant size cereal, all for $3. That's right, savings made simple from $1, $2, and $3 only at Ruler Foods, rulerfoods.com.
Built in the heartland for the heartland. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a whim.
Ryan, you and I have been out of the dating scene for a little bit. You longer than I have been. But I found this clip interesting. It's gone viral. It involves Charlie Kirk, who I'm sure you know about. And these 2 guys who, it sounds like they just started up a podcast, and Charlie says that he's like, I never even heard of these guys. but they're younger and they're trying to get their start. And so he's like, I have a soft spot for people, the podcasters. And so he agreed to go on their show. And they start talking about dating and who should be covering the check on the first date. Listen to this interaction between Charlie and these two podcasters.
Women want to be taken care of. I know this is like super provocative, but like deep down, they want a man to be able to provide for them financially.
Should a man pay on the first date?
100%. Like, what kind of a wuss beta male is splitting the check? Like, who are you? It's like, I'm just sorry. It's I would go into debt and scrub dishes before a woman paid for it.
I split the check quite a lot.
So I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you. You guys are great. That's incomprehensible to me. I think that's
to me. I thought it was a great financial decision.
So from your prism, I totally get that, and like you have really good financial discipline. I'm sorry, like I would be so humiliated if I find that to be like the greatest beta male like humiliation.
To save money?
To like the idea that a woman that you're trying to court. Now, if it's like a friend thing,
as a first date, you don't even know if she's like the quality.
It does not matter. I'm sorry. By the way, that money you save is not worth the honor that you compromise.
It is such a big deal.
It's a massive deal.
He did not hold back at all, which, by the way, I appreciate. I'm curious from a man's perspective to get your thoughts on this, because mine have changed over the years.
I am so cheap, but I would never once consider letting the date pay. Not once, ever. And I'm as cheap as they get. Never would I allow that to happen. You have changed your opinion on this?
A little bit. So I went on a first date. I mean, this is like 15 years ago when I was living in Des Moines. And I remember I stupidly offered to split the check with the guy. And I think I ended up even paying for it. Or maybe, I don't know if I offered to pay for it or offered to split it. I ended up paying for it. And he said yes. Now, it was my mistake that I even offered. But the fact that he allowed me to do it, I mean, I feel kind of bad because for guys, I think sometimes they fall into this trap of the woman offering and they feel like, oh, well, maybe she will feel disrespected if I don't allow her to do. And that really is part of the problem in today's society. There's so many feminists out there who are saying, well, I should be able to open the door myself, and I don't need you to open the door for me, and I don't need you to pay my check, and all these different things. It's about like, if, I can do anything you can do. And so I think it creates confusion for men because in some cases they're trying to be respectful to the women and honor that. But then the woman, in some cases, will get upset if the guy actually allows her to pay. And things have really changed in society. So I probably was more in the camp of, oh, it's not a huge deal if the woman splits the check because to that guy's point, you don't really know him. But now I have changed my mind and over the last number of years, and I'm like, no, you're right. You should, if you're courting someone, you should absolutely be picking up the check. Now, down the road, you've been dating for a while, you're an established couple. I can totally get why maybe you would split the bill or she would pay for it at some point, but 100% in the beginning, I believe the guy should be paying for it. And it's funny to hear that younger guy say, what are you talking about? I'm trying to save money. I'm trying to be financially savvy. I thought that was the appropriate move for me to make here.
Yeah, the traditional way of doing it is you need to be able to show you can provide for this person because you want that person to, be a mother and take care of your kids. So you have to take care of everything else financially. So the traditional way is to say, this is a small token to prove that I am capable of doing this by paying for this meal. Now, if you go back to, let's say when we're first dating, and I don't know how long you've been married for, but even if you go back, like if you think 20 years ago, like when you're really younger, things were a lot cheaper back then when it came to going out. And imagine today going out and it's like $80 for two people. Then I'm guessing maybe that's where they're coming from. It's a lot more expensive to take someone out for a date. But back in my day, if you spent $50, that was a ton of money on two people. That was like, whoa, man, I could go to Texas Roadhouse and get a Texas-sized meal with ribs and a steak for $15, like back in the day. And go ahead, you can have as many rolls as you like. Put on that cinnamon butter, baby.
I love the cinnamon butter.
Enjoy
amazing.
it while you can. Oh,
see, but you can
so
go on a
good.
date. I mean, to me, a great date doesn't necessarily involve a fancy dinner. It could be grabbing a coffee and walking around a park together. So you might end up spending $15 max. I think people forget that maybe some women want that. That was not me. But I mean, it's interesting.
The coffee? You didn't like that?
No. I mean, like the women would want some like ritzy dinner. I never really cared about that. I still don't care about that.
Mm-hmm.
But the dating scene has just changed. I was looking at these statistics, and it's talking about how, people are getting back into the dating pool now. Maybe the Gen Xers who had been married or they were dating somebody long term. It just didn't work out. And anyway, they're getting back into the scene. And now people are going online. The majority of people are finding their future spouses online, which, by the way, is how I found my husband. My husband and I actually met on a dating app, which is not how I wanted to meet him.
Farmer needs a wife.
Yeah, that was exactly a farmer needs a wife. Yep. I had this idea of, I want to have this romantic, I'm going to meet him at church and all these things. And when everything shut down in 2020, that really wasn't an option because my church at the time had shut down. And I was getting older and I wanted to start a family. And so I swallowed my pride and finally decided to get on an app, and that was how I met him. And like I said, you look at the statistics, and it talks about how 40-some% of people find their spouse online. And then I was also looking, I went down a rabbit hole, and it said, which states fall in love the quickest? It says in Missouri, 20% of people say I love you within the first 3 months of dating. I think I was in that camp. We got engaged after 10 and a half months, maybe.
Okay. Kim, I got to imagine, if this is going into strange territory, me saying this, please let me know.
Let's
Don't
hear
be
it.
shy. You were probably, when you pop up on a dating app and guys see like you up on there, I'm guessing your inbox was flooded. Like people were like, there's sharks out there and there's blood in the water, man. Like they need to act fast. Like because I don't know what the dating pool looks like on these apps anymore, but I'm guessing it's a bunch of dudes and probably not a lot of great options for them.
I don't know now. It's been about 5 years or so since which is not even that long, but a lot can change in 5 years. My husband thought I was catfishing him. You know what catfishing is? Because at the time I was a TV reporter, and they're thinking, she's not really, that's not really her. So anyway,
exactly.
it was funny.
This is exactly what I'm thinking. They're like, no way.
Right, like she's not messaging me.
So did he tell that story at the wedding? Like you guys are standing up there and you're like, I thought she was catfishing me.
I don't think he did, but plenty of people know that whole story that, he was showing his buddies pictures and, he's like, there's no way that this is actually the girl. Of course, nowadays you just Google everybody. But I do feel for people who are in the dating scene right now and trying to navigate this because I've heard it's slim pickings, and that's for all generations, and especially the parents who have the teenagers who are trying to get into dating now, and they're going online onto these apps, and it's like you want to monitor it, but it's very different. It's not the same as even when I was dating back in high school, and the guy shows up and he comes to the door and he meets your parents and he sits down and he chats a little bit. I mean, is that happening anymore for the parents listening out there? Do your kids do that? I'd like to know if that's a thing anymore, because a lot of these relationships, again, they're just starting online, and you might have a long conversation with somebody before you ever meet them.
I like the idea of the dad cleaning the gun when the boy comes by. The old movie
Come here,
scene
son.
where he's got the cleaning kit out, he's got the towel, and he's just kind of fiddling around with it a little bit and has a candid conversation about how he knows how to use it. And you better be home by a certain time. Don't make me come find you kind of conversation. So did your husband talk to your dad and ask for permission before
to marry
marriage?
Me? Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And that was important to me, but he was going to do it anyway. But yeah, he went over to their house and had dinner together, and my dad loves to tell the story about how nervous he was.
I bet.
Did
I
you do
remember
that?
going to talk to my wife's, my now father-in-law, and we had the conversation. He was working at the time, so I drove out to him. We met at a Denny's.
A Denny's, I love it.
He met at a Denny's, and he probably could figure out what was going on when I said I wanted to meet with him. We were dating for a little bit at that point, and I told him, and you know what his answer was? His answer was, well, she's your problem now.
I'm assuming she knows that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's your problem. She's your problem now. Oh, thanks.
Is that a blessing, or so you're saying? Yes, you would like. It's okay.
I guess I guess she's your problem now.
And the rest is history. You guys have been married for how long now?
Oh, no, I knew you were going to ask that. It's been
Oh, this is the test.
13 or 14 years this year, I think.
There you go.
I don't remember. Oh, man, she knows I don't always know these dates. It's okay. It's been a little
Somewhere
while.
in that range.
I'll say about 14 years.
We'll go with 14.
Coming up this
She's
year.
not listening right now. She doesn't need to know that you don't remember.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot's changed since then. I mean, but I'll tell you, the traditional way, one that people try to make fun of, like, hey, you don't have to be traditional anymore. I'm telling you, it works. So there's a lot of things, you go and talk to the parents, you ask for permission, you do things proper in a traditional way, and it, I'm telling you, works for anyone listening here.
Yep.
So
wholeheartedly
it's a
agree.
good path. You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We look great on the roads at this hour. A nice start to the day, and typically on a Friday morning we have lighter traffic anyway. Right now that appears to be the case. If you are on the Illinois side, things are quiet, really no delays there, and we look good on the bridges downtown. Quiet on the Missouri side as well. 55 is in good shape, no problems through North County. And we just look good throughout the area. If something comes up, I'll let you know. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing. Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS.
How's your foundation? If you're having trouble with it, in your house that is, you need to call my friend Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repairs. Somebody said to me the other day, Mark, who's that company you talk about all the time? It's Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com. If you go to their website, you can see what they do, and they do a lot, quite frankly. They can help with waterproofing of your basement. That's important. You don't want to ruin your belongings. You don't want things to get mold on them down in your basement or ruin things like your furnace if water backs up. So call Matt and let him get over there. He is the owner. He's the foundation specialist you'll be dealing with. He will come out there because this is a local family-owned company, and you can trust that he's not going to oversell you. He's going to fix it, and then he's going to give you a lifetime warranty after that. So call them today, 314-227-9636, or online anytime at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Missouri Grit. Marc Cox on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Marc Cox. So, when I was filling in for Mark Reardon maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I forgot what date it was, but I tell you what, Fred Bottomer is a booking machine.
He is.
I call him the miracle booker. So we had Rob Schneider on of
really?
SNL fame.
Oh, that's
It was
cool.
really cool. And he was working on a documentary about the Shroud of Turin, and he was in town because they had the Shroud of Turin, not a festival, but it was like a conference where they had like biblical scholars and skeptics and all these other people get together and discuss this artifact. So we had Rob Schneider on, and we talked about the Shroud of Turin, and we talked about his faith and what he looked at and why he was coming into town to talk to skeptics about it, or agnostics or what not. So it was a panel discussion, and he also had a documentary that he was working on. I take that back. It wasn't a documentary. It might have been a documentary in the sense that he may have played the part of one of the people when they do maybe some cutaways and things like that. So what's interesting is that more recently there's been a lot of news about the Shroud of Turin. Are you familiar with what it is?
I'm not.
So you probably have seen it. It's the basically burial cloth of Jesus, which they say has his imprint left on it. So have you seen anything that looks like an old tablecloth almost with the only way to describe it, with what looks like an outline of a man, and that has not
This is
come
going around on
past your
social media? No, I'm surprised I
this is
haven't seen that because I'm
this
very
has been around
surprised.
for a long time. Well, it's the actual thing, the artifact has been around for a long, long time. So with the different threads, they say is the blood of Jesus, and then some people theorize that after he ascended,
Hmm.
that the light that was emitted imprinted on this cloth. So people have this burial cloth of Jesus, and after many, many years, they've tested it and they found, okay, it's old, but it's not as old as Jesus. But then they retest different parts and they realize it is as old because other nuns and things tried to mend the cloth in parts where it was frayed. So they were picking up on maybe some of the restoration pieces as opposed to the original pieces of the cloth. So here's the new study. Shrouded Turin study unlocks new key details of Jesus's burial, reinforcing accuracy of biblical accounts. So, in the research published by the International Journal of Archaeology in June of this year, referencing the garment where evidence of blood clotting was found, they look at it through UV lighting. They test it through multiple samples. Experts studied it. Here's the thing, it's going to be debated forever. No one's ever going to
Hmm.
truly be able to actually identify this as being accurate or not.
Right.
But what they're saying is the more they look into it, the more likely it looks to be accurate, which is
That would
kind
be
of
crazy.
very fascinating.
I mean, who would have had that? Mary Magdalene would have taken that. That's the
You
thing.
know,
Like, how did that whole thing get past? She was the first one who saw him.
yes, I don't know who would have taken it. That's a good point. I don't know if that's known who would have grabbed this to keep it as like a souvenir.
Right.
Probably not the right word to put it. But here's the point I'm trying to make. And, I'm a Christian and I look at different things like this and I worry about pieces like this because I think when you claim something is of that significance and there's going to be people that try to debunk it and
Hmm.
people that say they truly debunk it, I think people sometimes, and this is what I brought up to Rob Schneider, I think sometimes people will have their faith shaken a little if something they truly believe in to be authentic is somehow determined not to be. And then that, for some reason, impacts what they believe because then they start doubting the truth.
Yeah.
So I look at things like this as mere tourists attractions that would be really cool if it was true, but you don't anchor your faith to things
Oh,
like this.
100%. Well, it's like the Noah's Ark thing. Have you seen that they're saying that they may have found Noah's Ark and that it actually matched they believe that it matches what they think was the massive boat, matches the dimensions that are in the Bible. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, would that be amazing? Of course it would be. But yeah, I mean, you can't have your faith grounded in that and think, oh, well, if this isn't true, then clearly the whole story about Noah, that never really happened. You know what I mean? And I think you're
Yes.
right. I think people who have a surface level understanding of their faith, that probably is what they're doing. They're clinging to little things like this, and when this gets disproven or they say it's debunked, then they feel they're just
Yeah.
shattered.
Yeah, and they might have this experience, where let's say it's out on display and it's on display once in a while. They don't put it out a lot. But then they say this is proof that this is vindicated. The Bible is true. This is so it talks about the accounts and it shows that here's a physical piece of evidence we can use to disprove anyone that's a doubter. So what happens if the evidence takes you to say, well, this may actually not be it, or we never may have an answer? Does that mean the thing that you're anchored to, which is what brought you to that faith, or at least to that revelation, if you don't have anything deeper or you don't have any other revelation beyond that, then you're going to find yourself doubting
Mm-hmm.
something that is very true because you took something and you rose it to the level of an artifact to be a substitution for your faith, or at least evidence of your faith.
I agree.
So
It's a good
that's where
point.
I think we got to be so careful with stuff like that.
By the way,
And
Rob's had a huge transformation. I've listened to a podcast, multiple podcasts with him,
Mhm.
and he became a believer pretty recently. And he's talked about how, as he became a believer and then I guess more conservative, he's lost a lot of friends.
Mm.
I believe that's who you're talking,
Yeah.
Rob Schneider. Yeah.
Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I brought this very thing up with him, and he basically said, we don't really we don't put our faith into, artifacts, things
Right.
like
You
that.
can
So
put
that's
an
good. I
item,
mean, that's
right.
exactly what it is. But that was my fear. You know who else has had a big transformation, and they've been very public about it, is Jim Brewer, another comedian, right around that same
I'm not
time.
familiar with
You don't
him.
remember him from Saturday Night Live?
I honestly have never been into Saturday Night Live. I've always felt it was overrated.
Well, definitely now I don't know, it's going to be on the chopping block, but it's definitely not what it used to be. And that is not that really is not debatable, I think. But Jim Brewer, if you look up some of his moments of faith, he talks about moments where he thinks God interjected into his life. He's on YouTube.
That's cool.
And he's not someone you would look at and say,
Hmm.
oh, yeah, he believed. It's worth looking up on YouTube. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
We're in August now, and we have got some fantastic deals for you out at Macadoodles in Darien Prairie, right there at Bryant and Fizey Road. They've even got a drive-through. But when you walk in the front door, you're going to see the Marc Cox Morning Show August Whiskey Picks of the Month. They're right in the front where you check out, and they're outstanding. One is my one of my old favorites, and that's Green River. I've been drinking Green River for years now. It is outstanding. It's made in Owensboro, Kentucky. It's one of the first distilleries you get to if you're driving there on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. $39 this month only. Mike's got it marked down for you. The other one is Old Louisville. This is the Maple Cask Bourbon. It's 117 proof, but it is outstanding. It is finished in maple casks, and he has marked that down to under $70. It was $80, so you're getting a great deal. Go try some of that. And whatever else you love when it comes to bourbon, you can find it at macadoodles.com.
The Cards, the Cubs.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 7:15. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpets sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
If you're looking for a trustworthy, reliable business to work with, look no further than the Better Business Bureau. By providing valid reviews, ratings, and accreditation, you can choose from a variety of industries with confidence, knowing you've chosen someone with a proven track record of excellent customer service who adheres to high ethical standards. Don't take chances with your money. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Come home or be locked up? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That is the threat for Democratic Texas lawmakers who left the state to block a vote on congressional redistricting that could give Republicans 5 more House seats in the 2026 elections. Attorney General Ken Paxton tells Fox they'll try today to
get them back to the state of Texas, hold them in contempt, and if they refuse to come, hopefully put them in jail.
There's also an effort to remove the lawmakers from office. Democratic State Rep Mihaela Plisa tells Fox she's not coming back today.
They put redistricting hearings before flood victims on the agenda.
Hamas is calling Israel's new plan to escalate the fight and take over Gaza City a war crime. But U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, just told Fox.
The response is they need to do exactly what the president says. They need to disarm, leave, and never think they have a future in Gaza again. It's absurd that they would even suggest that they're the good guys.
Israel's security cabinet's approved the plan that would also include more food deliveries for Palestinians after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told Fox.
People say you can't both release the hostages and eliminate Hamas, and I disagree. I think so far we've shown that we can, and I intend to complete the job.
50 hostages still being held, 20 believed to be alive. Some of their families are protesting this plan, fearing more hostage deaths. President Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin may meet as soon as next week. Fox's Madeline Rivera reports.
There's a crucial deadline today. The president has threatened to slap more sanctions on Russia if it did not agree to a ceasefire with Ukraine. The president, though, appears to leave the ball in Putin's court.
Is your deadline still standing for Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire tomorrow, or is that fluid now?
It's going to be up to him. We're going to see what he has to say.
2 Pennsylvania state troopers are recovering the morning after being shot and wounded, responding to a deadly shooting in Thompson that led to a standoff with the gunman.
He continued to be a threat, and he was shot by members of the Special Emergency Response Team.
And State Police Colonel Christopher Parris says he's dead. America's listening to Fox News.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 6:03 right now, 76 degrees. 2 people are dead after a helicopter crashed into a barge on the Mississippi River near Alton, Illinois. It happened around 11 o'clock Thursday morning. Ameren says an Ameren contractor and subcontractor were in the helicopter trying to work on power lines when the crash happened. It reportedly hit one of those power lines, causing it to catch fire and then crash. St. Louis police are looking for the owners of 3 dogs that attacked a man walking at Forest Park. The victim says the owner was playing with his dogs off-leash Wednesday night when they ran up and bit the man in the legs and arm. According to investigators, after the attack, the dog's owner just packed up the dogs in his car and drove off. A 16-year-old boy is behind bars after police say he carjacked 2 rideshare drivers at gunpoint within 48 hours. The first incident happened Tuesday in North City. The teen and 3 others involved were then released to their parents the next day. Well, then on Thursday, police say the 16-year-old carjacked another rideshare driver in North St. Louis. The other teens involved in this incident are still on the run. In sports, the Cardinals host the Cubs tonight. First pitch is 7:15 at Busch Stadium. Playing again tomorrow, and then they'll wrap up the series on Sunday. And City SC hosting Nashville tomorrow. Kickoff is at 7:30. 6:04 and 76 degrees. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look great out there on the roads. We've got light traffic on this Saturday morning. Saturday morning? What day is it? Friday. So if you are just headed out for the office, things look great. Really no delays on the Illinois side either. Yeah, we are looking good throughout the area. Multiple construction zones along northbound 55, but it really is in great shape through all of that right now. No serious delays on either side of the river. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We are back to the August thing all weekend long and into next week. It's sunny, it's hot, it's humid on this Friday. It's not super extreme going out the door this morning, but plan on it this afternoon. 95 for the high. Tonight, clear, warm, humid, 76. Saturday, sunny, hot, and humid, 95, 76 Saturday night. Sunday, mostly sunny and 93. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Coming up on 6:06 here this Friday morning, we're at 76 degrees right now if you're just leaving the house. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show at 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere. Just download the free Odyssey app.
Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Visit MissouriBrushControl.com.
Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property, manage vegetation, and clear land for better views. Enjoy your land the way you always dreamed of. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker filling in. So much going on. Did you see the story about the EPA canceling $7 billion in the solar energy grants that were given during the Biden administration?
All the climate activists are, no.
So the idea was to help pay for residential solar projects for more than 900,000 lower-income U.S. households. Trump administration is canceling that grant. And part of it said, let's see, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin said in a statement on social media, authority for the solar program was eliminated under the tax in spending law signed by Trump last month and set aside $20 billion for community development projects to boost renewable energy and another $7 billion for the solar project. That's a lot of money. Let me just point out that the way that these grants work in so many cases when it comes to government, the approval process, what you got to go through, the great lengths to try to get approved. There's more bureaucracy that ends up with the money. There's more politicians and people that are filling out forms than it goes to actually helping the cause that you want it to help. So even if you were thinking to yourself, oh, this is so great, we'll be able to get solar power for cheap and it'll help bring our energy costs down. Sure, if the money was actually going towards that. What we know is that, I don't know what the overhead is for something like this, but it's probably half, if I had to guess. And most of the money probably didn't even go towards what the original goal was, if I had to guess, too.
Right. No, I would agree
Same
with
thing
that.
with the charging stations. They're a great example of that, too. It's just ridiculous what you have to go through to get that. So here we are today. It's gone, which is good. I think, what I find, too, is the amount of money that they could have spent just offsetting costs to begin with. It would be more pragmatic. So I'll give you an example. There was a place in Ann Arbor, there's a neighborhood, they wanted to do these geothermal heat pumps, basically, so they can supply hot water and heat to these homes. And what they would do is they would have these pumps that would just basically take care of an entire neighborhood. So I looked at the cost it would be to put it in there, and then I calculated it based on each home, and I think it was like $30,000 per home or something like that. And I thought to myself, okay, if you're paying $200 a month in electricity, how long would it take for you to burn through $20,000 based on what they're doing that? So if you really wanted to offset the cost, if you said, we're just going to give you 20 grand in credits for your energy, that would have paid that plus the next generation's energy, as opposed to buying these pumps and putting all of this effort through it, which it'll fail at some point. So if you want to be more responsible with your money, you just apply it towards the goal of the infrastructure that's already there, as opposed to building the new infrastructure, particularly when you're talking about private residential homes, and only some are going to benefit.
Right, and that's part of the problem. You're right. Only some would benefit.
Yeah. So EPA cancels that $7 billion grant, and hopefully more grants to come down the drain. All right, let's go to the short list.
The Marc Cox short list.
People don't even bother to check the facts. We're doing everything that we can to avoid civilian casualties.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part. You want to avoid civilian casualties. That was Benjamin Netanyahu. So I think that Israel is trying their best. It's hard when your enemy is a terrorist group that uses women and children as human shields.
Our group is committed to ending this corrupt special session.
No, they're not. They're committed. This is Texas Democrat Gene Wu on CNN saying that they are committed. But they're really not committed. What they're committed to doing is avoiding it at all costs and trying to use this as a way to filibuster by not showing up.
Tariff inflation, tariff recession, tariff catastrophe. None of that has happened, okay?
Larry Kudlow. I think that's a very good point. based on what you thought would happen, based on the reality of what actually happened, either you're way off in your timing, as some Democrats are going to try to argue that, oh, it's coming, don't worry, it's coming, or you're just wrong again, added to the pile of wrong predictions that you've had about this administration.
2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs.
So that was pretty big. That was Steve Moore, and he was at a press conference inside of the White House saying that, okay, you want to talk about overestimating and trying to revise job reports? If we go back and look at it during the Biden administration, you're probably going to revise it down 1.5 million jobs, which, Kim, seems to be, if you talk to the man on the street, they have a hard time right now when it comes to employment, sending resumes out 100 times before you get one response. You talk about the nightmare of what it is trying to find a good job during the Biden administration. Then, yeah, that tracks that maybe they were definitely overestimating the amount of jobs that were actually happening. And at the end of that little clip, you have President Trump mentioning he doesn't think it was unintentional. He thinks they were purposely lying to manipulate the data to make Joe Biden and the Democrats look better, which could very well be the case too, and which is one of the justifications of why he fired the person he did in that position.
I wholeheartedly believe that was intentional to make the Biden administration look like they were more effective than they were. And I remember that statistic coming out, I think, toward the end of last year, I guess closer to November before the election. And wasn't it like 800 and I'm throwing this number out here, but I want to say it was like, the Biden administration overestimated job growth by 800 and maybe 16,000 jobs. We're not talking, a couple thousand. I could understand why you might be off just a little bit, but to be off nearly 1 million jobs, saying that you added way more than you did, that's a problem. And the other thing that you have to factor in is, well, inflation was so bad under Joe Biden, the economy was not doing well, that people were in many cases having to get a second job. So even if he was adding jobs, I would argue that people were having to go out and get a second job. It's not like it was somebody who was just graduating college and was getting their first job.
Yeah, and it's funny, you talk about these things, and you can have a good job and still have second jobs, third job. And I use myself as an example. I have my main job. I fill in here in St. Louis when I can. I fill in other markets when they ask me to. One, it's fun and it's easy for me to do, but two, it's another job. And then I do coast to coast AM on the weekends too. I have all these different side jobs, and I look at it as an opportunity to become a little bit more financially comfortable, and build a little bit of a buffer zone, because radio is an industry that is a tough industry where you'll just get anything can happen. You can get fired the next day and it won't be your fault, or they'll just do layoffs, or they'll do cutting, or whatever it is, and you have to have all these other irons in the fire in order to protect yourself. So I'm working like 4 different jobs, it feels like.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are having side hustles these days in general, because you want different revenue streams. Like you said, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. I absolutely am not complaining. I'm not saying that to complain, because I'm actually very grateful that I'm able to do things like this. And I have a lot of fun, and it gives me a way to stay connected to St. Louis, even though I'm not in St. Louis anymore. And I think the stations like it as well, because I'm at least familiar with St. Louis, so that helps. But I look at all these other people that are like driving ride shares, and I know a radio producer that works at a different radio station, and he does the Grubhub or whatever, where he delivers food to people outside of his main shift. And I'm like, oh man, I just can't imagine that you'd have to do something in the sense that it's a necessity for you. And he's married, like they have dual income. Things are not easy right now for a lot of different people.
No, but Lisa on Facebook's making a good point. She's saying there's a difference between jobs and careers, because a lot of people have these jobs, and I'm not knocking them, but let's just pick on McDonald's here for a second. They have a full-time job at McDonald's, and they're really mad, saying, I can't support my family on this, and I work 40 hours a week. Well, guess what? You're not, if you're flipping burgers there and you're not a manager there, it's not set up to provide for a family of 4 or 5. To me, that is a job. That is again, unless you're in management, that is a stepping stone. And so these are the same people who then make the argument, well, you should be paying me $20 minimum wage. okay, well, let's do that, just like they did in California, and then watch what happens. The employers understandably can't afford that, so they start laying people off. They have to close businesses. You have Shake Shack, who just says, we're out of here. We'll keep locations open, but we're moving our headquarters to Franklin, Tennessee, because it's a lot more lucrative for us. We don't have the same regulations that the crazy people in California are trying to impose on us.
Yeah. What's tough too? Sometimes you ever gone into like a Panda Express and you look at the signs and they're like, managers start off at $100,000, or like a Sheetz gas station or something.
Yeah.
You see those signs and you're like, there's no way that's true. But if it is, you're like, wait a minute. I wonder if I could manage
I could do that
a
job.
Chinese restaurant chain. Yeah. I wonder.
You could free orange chicken.
If I could, how hard can it be? You're like,
Well, with the way that customer service is going, oh my gosh, it really wouldn't be that. Maybe it'd be hard to manage the employees because they never show up and they're, terrible with customers these days. But
yeah. Well, there's the Breaking Bad philosophy, and if anyone's seen that show, they understand Gus is a main character, and he runs a chicken sandwich fast food restaurant chain. And, at the same time, he's also a drug kingpin. So you're like, is that how they do it? Like in the background,
what are you doing there?
Are they making meth to make that kind of money?
What's the guy's name? What's
Gus?
No, from Breaking Bad. It's not. Well, I'm thinking. Yes, it is Gus.
Walter
What's the
White.
main?
Walter
White.
White.
Thank you. That's who I'm thinking of. By the way, Mark corrected me on YouTube. I'm talking about In-N-Out Burger, not Shake Shack. Is the one that's moving their headquarters. Yeah. Did you hear about that? By the way.
No,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never had
It's a big.
Shake
I
Shack
haven't
or
either.
an In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, Shake Shack's good, but In-N-Out I've never had. But that's a big deal because that's been in California for quite some time now, and they're saying, yeah, we're done here.
I have a Shake Shack like 5 minutes from my house, and I've never been to it, but people love it for some reason. Should I go try it out today? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, the actual shakes are. I mean, the burgers are good too. I'm sure they're terrible for you, but they're very tasty.
Yep. Well, there's an update to the Epstein that oversight committees and the Democrats are calling for a hearing with the Epstein victims. I wonder if that's going to bring anything forward. I guess we'll find out. Coming up after the break, I'm Ryan Recker, filling in 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Looking good on the roads at this hour, and that's the Missouri and Illinois sides. But road work coming up this weekend. In fact, crews with the Improve I-70 Warrenton to Wentzville project plan to close the eastbound 70 exit ramp at Forestell, right there at the interchange, and they'll close it down at 9 o'clock tonight. It will reopen by 9 a.m. tomorrow. They've got to be out there installing a culvert for the new interchange. All of this is to accommodate a third lane in each direction of I-70. And this whole project, not the exit closure, but the whole 70 project and creating a third lane will really be going on through 2028. So we're just at the beginning phases of it. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Barron Mirror Glass and Door is simply the finest when it comes to mirror glass and shower doors. You can't find better quality, prices, or service than at Barron Mirror Glass and Door. They have the basics all the way up to the elite. Barron Mirror Glass and Door can't be beat. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Homeowners, listen up. The realtor you choose really matters. I mean, I've known Gloria Lou for years. I'm a customer of hers. She sold my house 1 year ago. I've met her clients. She's the real deal. Your home sold or she'll buy it. That's the guarantee she gives you. Call her at 314-325-6888 or go to gloriahasthebuyers.com. How many other realtors are telling you this? Gloria will guarantee in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. In Kirkwood, the Johnson sold in 5 days, $15,000 over asking. In Chesterfield, the Smiths got multiple offers in a week. That's what Gloria can do for you. Call Gloria at 314-325-6888 or go online anytime, as I mentioned, and be sure and tell her Marc Cox recommended her. Go to gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Like I said before, tariffs had absolutely zero effect on our equipment pricing. No manufacturer raised their prices. What has affected the pricing is the previous 4 years of these ridiculous mandates. I mean, I say ridiculous, it's shameful. But that being said, if you're told that you need a new system, or your air conditioner is bad, or you're looking to replace your system, if you want a common sense approach which works for you, your family, and your budget. When I say your budget, it never is what you want it to be on this equipment, but common sense approach, 15, 20 minutes of your time, and explain to you your options. No Kool-Aid being handed out. I'm Bart Inman. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I. The easiest way to get a hold of me with the easiest number, Missouri and Illinois, there's only one, 314-293-2600. Remember, 0% financing is available for most up to 60 months. Fantastic deal. God bless.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker filling in. Yesterday, I took the kids to the outlet mall in order to get them school clothes and shoes and whatnot.
Yeah, how'd that go?
And, well, they're spoiled kids, one. But two, taking kids that age, 10 and 4, they get bored so easy when you're looking at clothes and shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, poor mom, she's just trying to go out there and find things that are the right fit for them. And trying to find the right price to make sure, you're not buying. If you're going to an outlet mall, you want it to be a lot cheaper than if you were to just buy it online or whatever.
Right.
So we go out there and we find these Adidas shoes, and there's such great deals, and everything is so good. Can I tell you what happened when I was there with the Adidas? Oh, I know I got a story about going to the outlet mall. We're gonna have to save for later because I told you we'd talk about this other oversight committee hearing. So I'm going to name for you a couple of the representatives that want the Epstein list out there. Robert Garcia from California, your favorite representative, Jasmine Crockett from Texas, Ro Khanna from California, Rashida Tlaib from Michigan, among others, are calling for the House Oversight Committee to bring in some of the Epstein victims so they can hear testimony from them. Okay, so those are the ones that want to try to force this in. On the other hand, you have Donald Trump that came out on Thursday and slammed the Wall Street Journal's editorial board for routinely criticizing his trade policy with China-centric rhetoric, and also slammed them for the Epstein lawsuits. So Donald Trump essentially saying a lot of this stuff is propaganda. There's nothing to see there. They're just doing this as a way to slow down his progress that he's making. And, part of it is this birthday letter or whatever that came out. The drawing that the Wall Street Journal claimed was from Donald Trump. So do you think that the hearings into Epstein, in the way the Democrats care about it now and didn't care about it then, is just a way for them to try to sandbag some of the different initiatives from Donald Trump?
Well, I think this has been kind of a thorn in the Trump administration's side because they tend I think the Trump administration has done a phenomenal job, but I wouldn't give them an A+, and that's only because I feel like there's been a couple instances where they've talked this big game up, like, oh, this is going to be some bombshell report, and then it's a nothing burger. And so people have been frustrated. And the Epstein list is kind of one of them, where we thought that more would be released, and it's just been back and forth. And so people have been irritated that Trump hasn't released more. And then he called for it, remember, and then a judge said, no, you can't do that. So it's been back and forth. But I think this is their way of trying to keep some negative publicity going with Trump because they know that this has not been a good look for him, even among conservatives.
Do you know the reference Al Capone's vault?
No, I know Al Capone, but I don't know that reference.
Well, I think you may have heard it referenced before. It was one of the big busts on live television. Geraldo Rivera was going to break into Al Capone's vault. Think of all the riches that could possibly be behind this wall in this vault. So they find it. They make it into must-see TV. It was a 2-hour live television special that happened in 1986. And as you can imagine, they bust into this thing and there's nothing inside.
Of
It's
course.
like it looks empty and it looks run down and dingy and moldy, and everything about it just screams mildew. So you go into it and it's just like what looks like an empty concrete space underground. And that was it. You got 2 hours of watching this thing and nothing inside. Is that what the Epstein stuff is? The lead up to it, and everyone's like, boom, boom, boom. Let's get to the end of this. Let's bust into the Epstein vault. Let's find the names. And then they bust in and there's nothing there. Could that possibly be what's actually happening here? Because I have a hard time accepting that to be the case.
They claim there's not an actual list. Have you heard that?
That's what
I'm not sure I
figured you
believe
could
that.
put something together.
I mean, you do have to be careful when you're releasing this list because if these are claims that are not in some way corroborated, that could be a problem in and of itself.
Yep.
If you're, making these accusations that are very serious. I don't.
Well, yeah, if
I'm
you're
not-
falsely put on this list.
Right. Even if you're just on the list, but you didn't do anything, then you being on the list would insinuate that you did. So then that would open up the door for a potential lawsuit. So, I mean, they do have to be careful with this. I just wish they wouldn't have talked it up so much because now once you've talked it up so much, now we all want to see it. And then for Trump to come out there and say, why do you care so much? That was irritating to me. And I know people say, well, you shouldn't criticize Trump. No, I'm going to criticize Trump. Just because I support him wholeheartedly as the president of the United States and I'd vote for him time and again doesn't mean that I can't sit here and say, you know what? Trump didn't handle this the best way.
I guess if you're doing it as a way to bring forth charges, then you can't really be sued if you're being charged, if that's the public information side of it, unredacted. I wonder, but it's one of those deals where I know they're trying to push this, I think, just to sandbag, because I don't think their interest is really trying to get to the bottom of the Epstein stuff. Their interest is to try to impede Trump as much as possible. All right, Nicole Murray joining us after the break, 97.1 FM Talk.
We've got more of those 95 or 100-degree weather days coming. It's just a matter of time because we've lived here a long time and we understand that's going to happen. You need to have this phone number for Air Comfort Service on your phone if your system breaks down, 314-513-0091. Now, they're happy to come out and check your system to avoid that emergency, and I think that's great, right? You got plans to host your family. You can't do that if the heat's unbearable. You're having family and friends over for a graduation party or a get-together, and then you're stuck and nothing's working. You can avoid all of that by going on the heating and air conditioning preferred partner plan with Air Comfort Service. That gets your entire system checked twice a year for just $19 a month. You pay monthly, you get your 12th month free, and that means you stay cool, you keep your wallet from overheating. Call them at 314-513-0091. Tell them Mark sent you. Go online to aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Good morning on this Friday. I'm Kim Sainanj for 97.1 FM Talk. 76 degrees now coming up on 631. St. Louis Public Schools is rolling out nearly 200 new high-tech buses ahead of the first day of classes. The district signed a $30 million contract for these buses that include cameras and GPS tablets that allow students to swipe in and swipe out at each stop. There's also an app that allows parents to track the bus's location in real time and even when their child gets on and off the bus. FEMA has officially extended the deadline for St. Louisans affected by the May tornado to apply for help, but not by as much as the city had hoped. The city wanted FEMA to extend the deadline from August 11th until October 10th, while FEMA's saying it's only extending it until August 26th. Mayor Kara Spencer estimates about 700 affected households still have not applied for help. In sports, the Cardinals host the Cubs tonight. First pitch at Busch Stadium, 7:15. City SC hosts Nashville tomorrow, kickoff 7:30. I'm Kim Sainanj for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, watch out for an accident eastbound 44 at Hampton. They've got the two left lanes blocked, and traffic is kind of slowing through there. It's early enough that it's not caused a massive delay. If you are traveling on northbound 55, or will be, we've got a little bit of a slowdown north of Loughborough in the construction zone. And other than that, we really look okay. Now, westbound 64 was a little slow as you head for Lake St. Louis Boulevard. And the big construction project of the weekend is that crews with the I-70 Warrenton to Wentzville project are going to close the eastbound 70 exit ramp at the Forestdale interchange from 9 o'clock tonight till 9 a.m. tomorrow. And that could cause an issue or two tonight. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Step outside and fall in love with your backyard again. From inviting porch overhangs to durable composite decks and cozy screen rooms, Lakeside Renovation and Design creates stunning outdoor living spaces designed for relaxation, entertaining, and making memories. With expert craftsmanship and top-quality materials, your new outdoor oasis will be perfect for every season. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design today or visit lakesiderd.com to get started. Let's turn your backyard into the retreat you've always dreamed of.
Hey, it's Annie with my friend Stewie, and you know Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan gets you your mortgage or your refinance at no closing costs. And I have Stewie with me right now. You're all about saving people money. Fiscal responsibility is really in right now, and you've got something up your sleeve for these folks.
You know what, Annie? Some people like to get better cash flow. Other people just want to pay off all their debt. So we're going to do something very, very unique. In Scotland, it was traditional to paint the door red once you paid off your mortgage. So we're going to give you the Red Bagel Challenge. If you refinance with us and you consolidate your debt and you get your mortgage paid off in half the period of time remaining, we're going to give you a $1,000 bonus at the end of that term.
Well, Stewie's all about helping you build your wealth and build equity, and the Bagel Loan is another way to do it. Remember, no closing costs with the Bagel Loan. Reach out to Stewie directly with 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google Bagel Loan for more information, NMLS number 226715.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Victory Men's Health is a life changer. Gentlemen, I'm telling you that because I have been a client now for 8 years, probably, or close to it. And what a difference. What a difference knowing somebody has your back. I go in every 3 or 4 months. I do a blood draw with them. They take a look at where things are. They check your testosterone levels, your hormone levels. They check to see if you're eating well. And how do they tell that? Well, you might have deficiencies in certain vitamin areas. For me recently, it was magnesium. So I'm now taking a magnesium supplement. If your regular doctor is not doing these things for you, you need to go to Victory Men's Health. They've got convenient locations in O'Fallon, Illinois, O'Fallon, Missouri, Sunset Hills, and Town and Country. They do specialty testing for cardiovascular health. They do cancer screening. Get on the right path. It will make you feel better. Reach out today. Tell them you heard me talking about it. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Bold takes, real talk, no apologies. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to your Friday. It's getting there. Welcome back to the Marc Cox Morning Show as well. I'm Ryan Recker filling in. Our guest now, Nicole Murray. There we go. This morning with Gordon Deal, you could have checked out this morning. Nicole, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Does this count as overtime for you when you do these radio appearances after the show, or is this just part of the job?
No, that's like separate side hustle stuff that I do. So yeah.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. We want to make sure you're taken care of. That's what we
Ryan,
want.
you weren't told that you had to personally pay Nicole for her appearance today?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's on you.
Nicole, I don't know what the going rate is, but will a thank you suffice?
I also heard someone told me that freshly made breakfast being sent to my desk is part of the deal.
Oh, shoot. I forgot to tell him about that. Yeah.
What's the perfect breakfast then for Nicole Murray?
Probably like an omelet with cheese, peppers, spinach. That way you get your protein, maybe like a side of bacon, crispy. And then a nice mimosa would be lovely.
Well, technically the show's over, I guess. But yeah.
You know what I don't like are those fancy restaurants that it seems the menu, it just doesn't sound that great because it seems as though they're trying so hard to be Instagram worthy. And they make these fancy meals. I'm like, I just want an omelet. I just want pancakes or waffles or something. You know, I don't need the fancy schmancy stuff.
I think
There's
Ryan,
one.
Ryan had Cheerios today, so.
Yeah,
there you
listen
go.
to me down the line, eat that. But you know what I make for my son every day? He loves Spam, so I cook that
Oh,
up.
really?
Wow.
So
You just
good.
put it on the
like
skillet?
too. Well, we use the
No
air fryer
way.
now. We're more advanced.
Oh,
air
you
fryer.
air fry your Spam. I've never even had Spam. What does it even taste like?
Nasty.
You know, it just tastes salty and meaty
Ugh.
salty, and
Ew, that
I
sounds terrible.
love it too. You could put it on. You can make a bagel sandwich with egg, cheese, and Spam in between
Ah.
a bagel. That's always good. Or you just eat it with some eggs and toast and hash browns or something. Yeah.
No way.
All right. Well, Nicole Murray. Hold on a second.
Gross.
This is coming from the story you did where they're making breast milk ice cream and ketchup flavored smoothies. So you're calling Spam gross.
I'm just here to deliver the news and give people the facts. I am not the one who created those things.
Drew, back
So
up Nicole
what
on
is
that.
in the news?
All right, so futures are slightly higher Thursday. The Dow Industrials lost 224, the Nasdaq up 73, the S&P 500 down 5. Schnucks has announced plans to build a new, larger grocery store in an upcoming Creve Coeur complex. The new 68,000 square foot market will replace the current Schnucks store nearby at 10650 Olive Boulevard. A new version of ChatGPT has arrived at that OpenAI CEO Sam Altman promises will have PhD level smarts. OpenAI announced the release of ChatGPT 5, which it calls its fastest, smartest, and most useful model yet. A basic version of the new model is available for free with paid options for higher usage also available. Drug maker Eli Lilly says its oral daily GLP-1 pill may offer similar weight loss results as weekly GLP-1 shots. Eli Lilly said the company's new orforglipron pill can offer up to an average of just over 27 pounds of weight loss, according to results from the first two of its phase 3 trials. The average rate on a 30-year mortgage has fallen to its lowest level in 4 months. Freddie Mac reports the long-term rate fell to 6.63% from 6.72% last week. The Federal Trade Commission says Americans age 60 and older are reporting being victims of imposter scams in increasing numbers. Data says that in 2024, the FTC received more than 8,200 reports from adults age 60 and older, claiming to have lost at least $10,000. That figure is up 362% from 2020. And finally, some parents are steering away from gentle parenting for a new style called FAFO, which basically stands for mess around and find out. This method focuses on letting kids face the consequences of their actions. For example, if a child refuses to wear a coat, they'll walk home cold.
Wow, actually facing consequences for what you do? This is a new concept for a lot of people.
Very true. Very true. I have friends who actually do this, though, and I have to say it works.
Yeah, they do the, what would you call it? And it's normally FAFO, but you're saying it's MAFO?
Well, we can't
mess around.
We can't say what FAFO really stands for, but you get what I'm saying. You pick up what I'm putting down.
It's kids. Yeah, you have to change the terminology for kids. But I find that kids I think their ability to complain also increases in moments like that. So do they ever get to the point where they stop complaining if you make them responsible for their actions?
I mean, I've seen this in action, though. It's maybe they don't understand the idea of taking responsibility, but when they want to argue and argue and argue, this kind of just lets the parent end the argument right then and there. Fine, you don't want to wear your coat? Fine.
Kids like boundary. They really do. They like structure. They like boundaries. And I feel like parents think that they're being hateful toward their kids if they set those boundaries. But that actually is what the kid desires deep down. And I don't know, statistic after statistic points to gentle parenting not working. And it's hard as a parent because all these things I said I would do, now having a son, I'm like, that's so hard. But that's actually for their own good. You're doing it out of love. And as long as you go about it with that in mind, you're not just doing it out of strict anger, then I think that's the best route. You can't, when my toddler throws a tantrum and is just chucking his toys or hitting, I can't sit here and say, now, Easton, we don't hit. And he's not going to say, okay, I'll no longer hit. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
He has to face a consequence. And after enough of those, he learns that's not what we do.
They'll thank you for it later.
Exactly.
Yeah, I take when I was a kid, I had to walk uphill both ways to school, and my parents bought me Kmart shoes, which was basically Wonder Bread bags that they tie off at the stop.
Do you have Kleenex boxes around, and those were your tennis shoes?
Exactly. But they complain about everything. Like, so we went to the outlet mall to get some before school shopping stuff, and their water bottles were empty. And I'm like, when I was a kid, we never drank water ever once. When I was an entire kid, we never complained about water not being available. We just didn't drink it. And you can't go an hour without a sip of water. You got to be kidding me, kids. So I go with the you don't know how good you have it approach, and it's not working.
When you're older, you get that, but not when you're younger.
I know.
Well, good luck
Nicole
with
Murray,
that
thank
one.
you so much.
Thank you so
much. We appreciate
much,
the
guys.
time. Just so you know, Kim, if you want to go online to Amazon, we buy the Spam in the 12 packs, low sodium. Because we care
gotta
about
go
our
low
health.
sodium.
Yeah, and the 12 pack of Spam you can get for $35, $36 on Amazon.
Apparently, people really like it. By the way, people
I really do. So
are backing you up on social media this morning, which I'm shocked at all of you who like Spam, Spam and beans, Spam eggs and tots. Gross.
Spam. You cut the Spam, you slice it because it comes in like a block.
Ew, you're not making this sound any better, Ryan.
So do you know how on Thanksgiving you get the cranberry sauce in
I
the
know.
can, you open it up, and it makes the noise, it goes...
Oh, yeah, I'm picturing it.
That's how the Spam comes out of the can, like that. Plop. And it's got this little gel on the side. You kind of scrape it off for preservative.
Ew.
And then you slice it. You slice it in, somewhat thin slices. And then you could either fry it up on a pan, put it in the air fryer, which fancy people like us do, air fryer people. And then you do 11 minutes at 375 degrees or something like that. You flip it halfway through. And then you come out, it's nice. For my daughter, who eats it once in a while, I slice it into what looks like French fries. And so she eats it like that, like Spam fries. My son, I just give it sliced straight with the eggs in toast. I'll eat it with eggs, toast, and hash browns. It's the perfect breakfast.
The only thing I will agree with is what Bindy's saying, which is that Spam's good to keep in your emergency food supply because it has a long shelf life. I will agree with that. But for any other circumstance, the way you're describing it is just making me not want it even more. There's a gel, and it comes out in a can, like in a roll, and you have to cut it up, and this is gross.
Okay, if it was prepared for you, would you try it?
Yeah, I would try it, but there's definitely no way I'm going to be eating that as a staple.
Okay, would you be afraid you actually like it? Like, oh no, oh please don't like this,
Shoot.
because now you don't want to be a spam person.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but
Look at Mark said,
but it's
developed
so
to feed our troops.
It's so processed. Ugh, I mean,
It was designed to feed our World War II troops. If it's good enough for the greatest generation of all time, it's good
it's
enough
good
for
enough
me.
for Ryan Wrecker.
It is. All right, we have in other news coming up after the break. Man, I could go for some spam right now. I may text my wife and say, hey,
Gross.
can you throw some spam in the air fryer for me so I
gosh.
can eat some between the break? Oh, does that sound good? You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Watch out for an accident on westbound 70. It's a little bit past Jennings Station Road. They've got the right lane blocked through there, so there is a jam. So if you are traveling westbound, that's what it is. Eastbound 70 looks great. Really no delays through there or from out west into downtown. 6440 is in good shape as well. 44, they cleared the accident at Hampton, and we now look good through there. And let's see, if you're taking 55, the construction zone is causing delays this morning, mainly from Bayless to a little bit north of Loughborough, and then things open up and look fine. We're quiet on the Illinois side. Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home, and when it needs help, just call the experts at Overhead Door Company for same-day service, 314-781-5200, or schedule online at overheaddoorstlewis.com. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
Me want to learn more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club is coming to St. Louis later this summer. The Bitcoin Ben Crypto Clubs teach members what Bitcoin is, how to buy it, how to safely store it, and how to avoid scams. And we'll connect with others like us who want to learn more about crypto. St. Louis will be the 7th club nationwide and Ben's hometown. If you want to know more about Bitcoin, you need to know Bitcoin Ben. Learn more at bitcoinben.io. That's bitcoinben.io.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
The Cards, the Cubs.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 7:15. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, is your Generac home standby generator ready for the next outage? Are you overdue for annual maintenance? Schedule an inspection today with Generator Supercenter and ensure your Generac generator is ready when you need it most. Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Live, local, and conservative. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news.
So, Kim, did you see that scientists want to prevent AI from going rogue by first injecting it with evil thoughts in hopes that it will... So they put this plan out, and they said, what we do is give these AI models a dose of evil, kind of like you're vaccinating it, and it becomes more resilient to evil data.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, essentially, what you're to do. So they think about in the past where people would ask it for prompts, and it would spit back evil things, not knowing it was evil because it's a computer and it's AI. So they said, what we could do is we'll just introduce all the evil stuff too. So then it'll be at least self-aware that this is what not to do, and then it'll avoid it in the future.
But
So
you made the comparison of the vaccines, and you know what happens sometimes when people get a dose of the dead version of the shot or of the virus? They get it. You get a flu shot, you get the flu.
Yeah.
You feel like you have the flu, and so this is probably what's going to happen. It's just going to turn the AI even more evil.
I feel this is the way to, if you really wanted AI to hide their evilness, then you put that in and let it fester underneath until they're ready to unveil it to the world.
I'm just thinking of Dr. Evil. Somehow my brain always goes back to Austin Powers. Have you been watching this whole Nicki Minaj challenge that people are doing? I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan, but there's some scene in one of her music videos where she's wearing these really high stilettos and she's balancing in a seated position on something that doesn't look like you should be able to do that. I know it's hard to describe to you. Anyway, all these influencers on social media are trying to do it. Again, you're like sitting, but you're like on a counter balancing on like, say, 2 cans of soup in really, really high heels. And this Russian influencer was trying to do this challenge, and she ended up falling backwards off of her kitchen counter and breaking her back. And apparently she's a pretty new mom. So she's newly postpartum, and she falls backwards and breaks her spine. So do not attempt the Nicki Minaj stiletto challenge. It's just stupid. It's all for some dumb video on Instagram or TikTok so you can get likes.
Russia does have that one dance where they like get really low. So I'm surprised it was a Russian.
It was a Russian influencer.
Kim, why didn't you tell me this yesterday? I just went to the outlet mall. I bought my stilettos.
Shoot.
I was going to do this after the show.
Today's the day. You could still do that.
Wasted all that money. No, you're telling me not to now.
Well,
What am I going to do with those stilettos?
Just be more careful than this influencer.
Well, you might be able to wear it to the theater. I guess Hamilton is going to come back into movie theaters. Tickets are on sale now, which you can go watch the film in theaters in U.S., Canada, Puerto Rico on September 5th. And in theory, you would think I would really enjoy Hamilton because there's a historical aspect to it. But I think it's so dumb. All of this. My wife loves it. She traveled to go see the live show so she can see it with her friends. It's this big phenomenon, and I just can't get into it.
Mm-mm. I think I saw it on Disney when it was out for a while, and I felt like it was overrated. I didn't get the hype.
Wait, Ryan, you're a history buff, right?
I know a thing or two, yeah.
So the thing that gets me is like how much they kind of praise Hamilton for doing all these great things. I don't know how much of that is actually true. What do you think?
I think they tried to show the flawed nature. Now, keep in mind, I think the whole idea of Hamilton is that Lin-Manuel is someone that read the Hamilton biography and thought this was so fascinating, so I'll make it into a movie, or a play, rather, excuse me. And so he was basing his information off of the one author who was discussing the life of Hamilton that also discussed his flaws. But so he, as a performer, realized the good parts that need to go on stage, but there are the flawed parts too. So I think they're in there as far as I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was some they do the dumbest studies, but this study tried to figure out which was what each state was best known for when it comes to dessert. I mean, as a native St. Louisan, we should all know what Missouri's best known for. Do you know, Ryan? What dessert we're known for?
For desserts?
Yeah.
It would have to be the gooey butter.
Yes, that's the correct answer for Missouri. What about Illinois? I had no idea about this one.
Oh, Illinois, they like the mustard popsicles.
Well, I thought you were going to say something with Spam. Mustard popsicles. A really fantastic guess. They're saying it's the chocolate brownie. They're saying the chocolate brownie was invented at the Palmer House in Chicago back in 1893. And so I guess because it was invented there, they're saying that that's what they're best known for. So there you go. Chocolate brownie in Illinois.
Missouri has a waffle cone too, though.
That we're known for?
If you think about it, right? World's Fair. Somebody fact check me on that, but
okay. Krispy Kreme, by the way, talking about desserts, are officially out with their donut-inspired collab with Crocs. Apparently, the shoes cost $90.
What a dumb collaboration.
For a pair of Crocs.
So they just have big pictures of donuts on them?
Yeah, basically. I mean, if you look at them, if you think what a Croc looks like, they got the regular in sport mode, which you put the little flap behind your heel. And on the front, there's a donut with some frosting and sprinkles where the toes are. But the donut's kind of separate. $90. People are going to buy these things.
Crocs are kind of ugly in the first place, and then you slap a picture of a donut on it, and it makes it even uglier.
You know how they say, make America great again? I want to go back to the time where Crocs were made fun of, as opposed to everyone wearing them.
Do they all wear them? I've never owned a pair.
So many people. You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
Sorry if we missed you at the last Protecting Your Retirement Educational event at the Frontenac Hilton, but we'll have another one here coming up in the fall. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, if you're ready to meet with Bob or Tammy Kershaw at the Retirement Advisor Group, just set up an appointment. It's really easy. They're going to explain the exact same things to you, give you a copy of their latest book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. It explains what they do. It's not a secret. They can help you set up an income strategy for retirement so that you're going to be able to retire comfortably. You're going to know where your money's coming from, when it's going to hit the mailbox. It is a personalized, structured income plan that protects your nest egg, which is what we really all want to do. You have dreams and hopes for retirement. This is how do you pay for it? This is what they explain. So feel free to go sit down with them. It's always free. They'll be happy to tell you what they do. Just sign up. You can go right to their website at retirementkey.com.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Did you know that 60% of adults over 20 avoid going to the dentist due to deep fear of dental treatment? Knowing that many of our chronic health problems can be directly related to the harmful bacteria in our mouth, not going to the dentist can be very dangerous. Hi, this is Dr. Michael White. I've been helping the dental anxiety patient for over 20 years with anxiety-free sedation. This is very effective and very affordable. Call my office at 314-270-8552. That's 314-270-8552.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Hamas is calling it a war crime. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Israel's new plan to escalate the war by taking over Gaza City. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more of Hamas's reaction.
Calling Israel's decision a reckless mentality that disregards the lives of prisoners. The statement goes on to say, quote, "We hold the American administration fully responsible for the occupation's crimes due to its political cover and direct military support."
Here's the U.S. ambassador to Israel's reaction.
It's absurd that they would even suggest that they're the good guys.
Mike Huckabee tells Fox this morning.
These are the people that raped women in front of their families, that beheaded babies and put them in ovens, that mutilated the bodies of their victims, even as the family members watched.
Referencing the 2023 Hamas terror attack that triggered the war, Israel's security cabinet approved the plan to take over Gaza City while also delivering more food for Palestinians. To dismantle Hamas and try to free the remaining hostages, 20 still believed to be alive, but some hostage families protest the plan in Israel, fearing they'll be killed. This is deadline day. President Trump set for Russia to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine or face new economic sanctions, but could that be delayed as he plans to meet with leader Vladimir Putin?
We can report that the two sides are tentatively looking at the end of next week for a Trump-Putin summit. The location is still up in the air, and Rome is still in the mix, but also Hungary, Switzerland, and the UAE are being considered.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The U.S. keeps trying to take down Venezuela's leader, putting a $50 million reward for info leading to Nicolas Maduro's arrest. Here's Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Maduro uses foreign terrorist organizations like TDA, Sinaloa, and Cartel of the Suns to bring deadly drugs and violence into our country.
Democratic state lawmakers who fled Texas to block a redistricting are being told to come home today or face possible arrests. Attorney General Ken Paxton tells Fox.
Well, if they are not there today, we are going to file a motion to remove some of these legislators from office.
America's listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Good morning. Made it into Friday. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. Hey, a pretty start this morning. 76 degrees, sunny downtown at the Arch now at 7:03. 2 people are dead after a helicopter crashed into a barge on the Mississippi River near Alton, Illinois. The crash happened around 11 o'clock Thursday morning. Ameren says an Ameren contractor and subcontractor were in that helicopter trying to work on power lines when it happened. The chopper reportedly hit one of those power lines, causing it to catch fire and crash. St. Louis police are looking for the owner of 3 dogs that attacked a man walking at Forest Park. The victim says the owner was playing with his dogs off leash Wednesday night when they ran up and bit him in the legs and arm. According to investigators, after the attack, the dog's owner just simply packed up the dogs in his car and drove off. A 16-year-old boy is behind bars after police say he carjacked 2 rideshare drivers at gunpoint within 48 hours. The first incident happened on Tuesday in North City. That teen and 3 others were involved, and they were released to their parents the next day. Well, then on Thursday, police say the same 16-year-old carjacked another rideshare driver in North City. The other teens involved in this incident are still on the run. In sports, the Cardinals host the Cubs tonight. First pitch at Busch Stadium, 7:15. Playing again tomorrow, and then they'll wrap up the series with the Cubs on Sunday. Meanwhile, City SC hosts Nashville tomorrow. Kickoff is 7:30. 7:04 and 76 degrees. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident westbound 70 past Jennings Station Road, and this has been blocking the right lane. Traffic is slowing through there.
Crews are on the way to check out a report of an accident westbound 364, not that far from Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. We'll see how that goes. And eastbound 70 looks good, so does 64, 40, and 44. From out west into downtown, we are quiet on the Illinois side and on the bridges if you're headed in to downtown. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Barron Mirror Glass and Door has the largest, most beautiful showroom in all of St. Louis, full of the latest, most custom designs, located in Chesterfield Valley. There you'll see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We are back to the August thing all weekend long and into next week. It's sunny, it's hot, it's humid on this Friday. It's not super extreme going out the door this morning, but plan on it this afternoon. 95 for the high. Tonight, clear, warm, humid, 76. Saturday, sunny, hot, and humid, 95, 76 Saturday night. Sunday, mostly sunny and 93. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
76 degrees now, 7:06. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere by downloading the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Marc Cox. We are definitely getting through this morning, and wife said no to spam, so what am I going to do?
What do you mean she said no? Like she didn't have time to make it for you?
She's like, I'm not doing that. So she don't do spam. She don't do spam for me. I mean, it have to be a pretty special occasion for her to wake
throw
up
it in the air
earlier
fryer?
than me. Well, she doesn't. I wake up and I take care of the kids' breakfasts. It's just part of what I do as the routine. And when I'm filling in and doing the morning show, she has to take care of all the kids' stuff in the morning, which she hates because it's not part of her duties as mom.
It's outside her routine.
Yeah, outside of her routine. So she's like, I'm already taking care of the kids. I'm not doing.
No
I'm not
spam for
taking
you.
care of you. You're not a kid.
So you eating spam then after the show ends?
You know, I really want to. So I think maybe I will because I can do whatever I want.
Spare cans in your pantry?
Oh, yeah, I got a ton of spam. We always stock with the 12-pack, and then when we get low, I say, hey, can you order another one on Amazon? And they just magically show up on our doorstep. But I did have a family emergency I had to attend to during the break. My daughter was screaming. She found 2 spiders that I had to go take care of. And do you know any adult that tries to scoop a spider up and take them outside as opposed to eliminating the threat?
I've seen people do it, and I am not one of those people. I will kill that.
No,
If you're in my house, you're
smash
dead.
it. Smash that bug in your house, period. Anything that's in there that's not meant to be there, you have no responsibility to usher it out safely into your yard.
It's funny because we were talking about that with our son last night because he's seen us kill bugs, and everything's a bee to him. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. And anyway, he was saying, smash spider. And it was funny because he was taking a fly swatter and just going around the house swatting, saying, smash spider, smash bee. And so anyway, it's kind of funny you bring that up.
I had to coach the kids, and I said, this is what you got to do. If you see one of these things, you have to keep a visual on it. So you yell for me, I'll come and smash it, but you have to keep an eye on it because I don't want to run over there and then you say you lost track of where it's at. And we can't find it. Now we have a rogue. We don't want a rogue spider in the house.
When you try to kill it and it runs behind the furniture, and I'm like, well, clearly I'm not sleeping tonight if it's in my bedroom.
It's going to end up in your mouth at night.
100%. It's going to bite me. I am going to eat it. But they talk about how many spiders you eat in your life.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if that's true either. How many spiders are really in your house where you could eat them?
And they just
I'm
so
Googling
happen
this.
to crawl into your mouth. No, I think it's an urban legend. They
It
just say
has to
that.
be.
Yeah,
It
but that's why
says-
you smash all spiders.
Yeah, it says the claim is that the people swallow an average of 4 or 8 spiders in their sleep each year. They're saying it's a myth. There's no evidence to support this claim. Well, yeah, I mean, again, how many spiders are stupid enough to go into your mouth? And how many people have that many
Probably all of
spiders
them
in
if
their
they
house?
Had the chance. I know. Do you have that many in your house? Well, if you think about how many people live in a house, let's say it's a family of 4. Do you have that many spiders crawling around?
You have to times
out
that
in
by
the
all the
open?
family members.
Yeah, there's like a basic a village of spiders that like to hang out at the bottom of our stairs into the basement.
Ugh.
So that's ground zero. If you're looking for spiders, you go there first,
A
and that's where
village.
you'll find them.
Village of
All right,
spiders.
let's go to the short list.
The Marc Cox Short List.
Hoping that we can have gender affirming care for our trans kids.
Number one priority for her, trying to get that done on a federal level. By the way, if you haven't seen Nancy Pelosi lately, she does not look good. She is, oh boy, she was already on the borderline. It looks like she got hit with some hard times.
There's no way that between now and the 26th election that you could conduct another census, be accurate in the outcome.
I wonder, because that's Karl Rove, and he says it's not realistic for a new census. I really wonder how difficult it would be to go over the data you already have, but correct it, much like you do the jobs report, but correct it to remove people that are not in the country legally in order to use that information when it comes to the districting. So I don't know if it's impossible or if you have to conduct a new census. I guess we'll find out.
We want to liberate ourselves and liberate the people of Gaza from the awful terror of Hamas.
It is an awful terror, and that's Benjamin Netanyahu says that they will occupy Gaza and then hand it over to a governing body once that governing body is not a terrorist organization. It seems like not a bad plan.
I'll do whatever I can to stop the killings.
That is Donald Trump, of course, when he says that, hey, the Russian leaders may not actually meet with Zelensky. Putin and Zelensky in the same room may not happen. Trump's like, whatever, I'll talk to each of them individually with their checklist, and we'll get this done if we have to. So Donald Trump doing what he can to bring peace to that region. All right, well, there's a lot to that, and we're going to have to talk more about it on the show. Jim Carafano, by the way, is a national security and foreign policy expert with the Heritage Foundation. Luckily, we have him in the next segment, so we're going to have to talk to him about that specifically. I'm very curious his thoughts on it. So this one story, you talked about it, Kim, at the news here, right at the start of the 7 o'clock hour. So you have police officers arresting a teen that did an armed carjacking, and then they let him go, and then that same suspected teen does the exact same thing, another armed carjacking. 16-year-old that was captured by the same officers.
A 16-year-old, which is, I mean, I say unbelievable, but it's really not, because this is the type of stuff that happens. You have like 14-year-olds who are holding up people here in downtown St. Louis. I was reading about this. I'll have to find the article, and I think it talked about how there's a certain like point system that they go off of, and that determines, I guess, if they can hold these teens, these juveniles. I've never heard that before, but supposedly they're saying that that's why they were not able to hold the teens, because remember, they arrested them, I guess the 4 of them, Tuesday, and they released them to their parents on Wednesday, and clearly some of these parents are not keeping tabs on their kids, or at least the 16-year-old, because the 16-year-old idiotically went out and carjacked another rideshare driver the next day.
So here's a point that I saw made online, and I think this is a point that's been made many times before. So you have the 16-year-old with a gun. It's an armed carjacking of a Lyft share ride driver, and goes out there, takes the car by gunpoint, gets picked up by police, released to their parents, goes out and does it again just less than 2 days later.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of the violence that we have, and there's a gun involved, one, why do you let that kid back out if there's a gun involved? But two, if you can't enforce the gun laws that are already on the books, what makes you think making stricter gun laws are going to make a difference if you can't even enforce the ones that you already have?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the people who are committing these crimes, they shouldn't even be having guns in the first place. So even if you put those new stricter gun laws in place, the same clowns are going to still do the same things. They're going to steal cars, steal guns, do all of the things. They're not going to say, you know what, shoot, it's a law now. I better not. I better not rob this guy at gunpoint because you know what? Missouri just passed this bill and it's now law. I can't do that here. I better go to Illinois. Although Illinois has really strict gun laws, and look at their crime. Look at how
Yeah.
many shootings there are in the city of Chicago alone.
Let's look at the point counterpoint. On one hand, you have a 16-year-old with a gun that was just caught carjacking a random innocent person that's out there trying to work. And on the other hand, you have a victim of a carjacking. Which one are you going to give leniency to? I am going to actually side with the person that did the armed carjacking because they're 16, and we're going to allow our sympathy to go their way to release them back into the wild because obviously they've learned their lesson, that whippersnapper. But they didn't. They conducted the same thing. I think this is also a quick reminder that caught or not caught, you mentioned the fireworks thing earlier this week where the person was caught shooting the fireworks downtown, got out, given to their mom. Mom drops him off so he can go back and shoot some more fireworks off downtown. This stuff is not uncommon. In fact, it probably happens a majority of the time where they go out and commit similar crimes almost immediately. And if it's a matter of them being caught or not, and if we catch them, and then what happens? You're just going to be lenient again, or are you going to actually take it seriously? Maybe the first time. That would be you learning your lesson. You take it seriously the first time when there is a gun involved.
Well, so here's what this KSDK article says. It says the spokesperson for police said they were not able to bring gun charges in the case because a gun was not found in the car when they were arrested Wednesday morning.
But they were witnessed by the person that was carjacked,
right,
as having a gun on them.
Right.
I would say that's all I had to hear. They had a gun on them. Okay.
Who cares if they have a gun on them? They still carjack someone. That's a crime in and of itself. But again, it's some like point system. It sounds like I don't know. Very odd.
It is very odd. All right. Just remember that if you're going to an event downtown, let's say you want to go to a ball game or a concert or whatever it is, and a minor is carjacking you, police are going to side with them. Just remember that. And that's the message St. Louis has to deal with if they're going to try to turn things around. But you can't when you have this stuff working against you constantly, over and over and over again. People wonder why. Oh, why are you so scared to go downtown? Oh, it's not that bad. Yeah, right. Like as soon as the sun goes down, your cars get broken into, your car gets stolen, you might get robbed. You're going to encounter things that you don't want to encounter. And people are, oh, no. Everything's so great all the time. You got to face reality with what's happening on the streets here. You really do. All right. Jim Carafano from the Heritage Foundation joins us after the break. I'm Ryan Recker filling in 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, crews are on the scene of that accident involving a motorcycle westbound 364 past Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. They've got the right lane blocked. And now, looks like they're moved off to the shoulder. But it's not causing a major delay. It's going against rush hour, and it's fine through there. Just be aware. Now, if you are westbound on 70, there was an accident past Jennings Station Road. They got that one cleared as well. Eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44 all look good from out west into downtown. Northbound 55 is in good shape. And we are quiet on the Illinois side in general. This report brought to you by Infinite Vitality. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Ready for real weight loss? Infinite Vitality helps you lose 8+ pounds a month with peptides like tirzepatide. Track fat loss with 3D imaging. 2 months for just $400. Mention Annie for a $50 credit. Infinite-Vitality.com.
You know, my friend Chad Hansen runs Hansen's Tree Service, and he is a great human being. Takes a lot of time, his own time, to go out and raise money and give money away to different charities in the greater St. Louis area in the name of his dad, and we appreciate that. We've been working with Hansen's Tree Service for many, many years. They've done a lot of work for me over the years. And no tree is too big for Hansen's Tree Service. They're the pros. They'll bring the big trucks out. They'll get it taken care of, and you just can't beat them. 636-379-1830. They'll send one of their arborists out, too, if you have questions. I don't know how to spot disease in a tree. I'm just honest about that. When you have a medical need, you go see a medical doctor. If you have a tree need, you need one of the arborists from Hansen's to come to your yard. Just call them. 636-379-1830. Tell them you heard Marc Cox talking about it. They'll even deliver mulch for you. Go online today to hansonstree.com.
That baby's gone!
Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals.
That ball was mashed.
And there are more ways to watch this season.
Holy cow!
Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts.
How about that play?
Or watch through a TV provider.
Incredible!
Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more.
He got it!
Learn more at cardinals.com/TV.
Ball game! It couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
If you need to sell your home to buy a new home, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty on your side, fighting for every dollar for you. 314-336-1991. Check out thegelmanteam.com.
Unapologetically right. Marc Cox on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Marc Cox Morning Show. I'm Ryan Recker filling in. Do we have our guest? I think we may. Joining us from the Heritage Foundation, National Security and Foreign Policy, are his expertise, Jim Carafano. Thank you for coming on this morning.
You know, I was born in the South. South Bronx.
It's rough there. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Just to show you how serious us kind of people really are, I was just thinking the right place for Putin and Trump to meet, Vegas. In that
Vegas.
big dome thing, and then we should sell tickets.
That would be awesome. Yeah, yeah.
And they would sell for hundreds of bucks, and we could, crank the deficit down a little. So it'd be a twofer. End of war and, make some money off of it.
That's a fantastic
All right.
idea.
What would they show on the screen when they're negotiating then? What would be up there?
Putin's scowl,
Big giant Putin head. So the undercard would be, we'll bring Mike Tyson back out again for a little fight, and something that Donald Trump would really like to see.
He could negotiate. He could be like the MC. That would be so cool.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, I guess that's where we are right now, and we have a proposed negotiation list of items that would be used in order to satisfy Russia to end the war with Ukraine. And the latest news is essentially Putin and Zelensky don't have to meet face-to-face. Donald Trump will meet with them individually to try to get them close enough within striking distance to end this thing. Do you feel like this could actually work?
I don't know. I mean, it does feel like Putin is maybe actually interested in a ceasefire. And so it's not the end of the war, it's a ceasefire. And if you actually look at all it really does, by and large, is accept the reality of conditions on the ground. But I always tell people the next war doesn't start because of how the last war ended. The next war starts because of things you do the day after. And so if we do get to a ceasefire, that's not the end. There's a lot of history to be written after that. And it really depends on what we do after that, whether we can protect our interests in Europe, which essentially are, look, we don't want Russia and China to basically run wild in Europe. That would be a disaster for us. And Ukraine is basically a dam against that. And then what Donald Trump has definitely proven is the United States can support Ukraine, press for a ceasefire, which is the right thing to do, and not really put U.S. interests or U.S. lives at risk. So I think he's done a terrific job getting us to the point, and we'll see what Putin does.
I wonder, also, for the sake of time, one of the other big news stories is between Israel and Hamas. So Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday on Fox, I think Bill Hemmer was there as part of the interview, saying, what do you want to do? And Netanyahu says they plan to occupy Gaza temporarily so they can hand it over to someone that's not a terrorist organization. How do you think that would turn out? Do you think realistically this is something that could actually happen?
Well, I think realistically it's the only path forward. I mean, there is no path forward where Hamas has a governance structure left in Gaza, and there's no way that you're going to actually provide for the people and ensure that nutrition and basic needs are met unless Israel and the U.S., cooperatively are in charge of the humanitarian operation. These are just the realities on the ground. And what everybody else thinks about that, I don't care where you are in the world, your view just literally does not matter.
It makes sense that Netanyahu wouldn't want Hamas, a known terrorist group, to be running, controlling Gaza. What confuses me, though, is that he says that, okay, look, we just want to occupy it. We don't want to govern it. We'd actually turn that over to some Arab nations, but hasn't specified which ones. I guess my question would be, is that really effective? Because, yes, maybe it's not an established terrorist group, but, there's been conflict between Arab nations and the Jews in Israel dating back, thousands of years. So is that really going to ensure that Israel's not having, bombs lobbed at them anymore?
As long as it's not Iran, the answer is probably, because I think in this part of the world, honor is power, and it's very clear that the kingmakers in this part of the world is this U.S.-Israel bilateral relationship, and I think most of the Arab states see that it's not Iran, it's not Russia, it's not China, it's the United States. And the U.S. strategy is, you have to normalize relations with Israel and live together as brothers, and that's the only way forward that you're ever going to get a decent life. And actually, I think most of the Arab nations have resigned themselves to that.
Yep. Jim Carafano joining us from the Heritage Foundation. So part of this interview, too, was talking about the food that was going in there. So what you find is a lot of the major networks and, news organizations like AP, they find themselves siding with Hamas in a lot of different ways, taking the information from them as truth. And Israel denies that, saying they're not trying to stop any aid or food to get in there. This is Hamas's doing. So when you look at the problems that are there, I think other people have said, like even Donald Trump, we're just going to take over the food rations to try to solve this. Now, I believe Netanyahu. I believe Hamas is making it so they're basically allowing their people in there to starve as a tactic, because either they're taking the food, using it for themselves, their fighters, or selling it, or whatever they may be doing to fund the war even further. How do you think you handle that situation and maybe get some recognition from the news networks that Hamas is really the bad guy here?
Well, the good news is there's been an organized global movement to demonize Israel, to promote anti-Semitism, promote anti-Zionism, to drive a wedge between the United States and Israel and to isolate Israel. And honestly, it's failed, right? It has not deterred either the Israelis or the U.S. government. So it's just not going to work. And just from a logical standpoint, in absence of perfect evidence, I always just default to logic. It is not in Israel's interest for the people of Gaza to starve. Why would they do that? They wouldn't. It is in the interest of Hamas to starve the people of Gaza and blame Israel. So the logic of what's going on here, and the reality is Israel and the U.S. can do things on the ground. Nobody else really can. So that's the way forward, and that's just it. So we're just going to get through this, because the one thing, most people keep looking for the elegant, perfect solution where everybody's happy. And most problems in the world are not that way. And this is
not
one
that way. You're right. Jim Carafano, Heritage Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate the time.
All right. Thanks for elevating the Marc Cox Show to a slightly higher level of dignity and decorum.
It's one of baseball's fiercest rivalries, the Cubs versus the Cardinals, and the action returns to Busch Stadium the weekend of August 8th through the 10th. Feel the heat, the history, and the excitement as these two legendary teams battle it out under the summer lights. 3 big games, 2 historic teams, 1 electric atmosphere you won't want to miss. Great seats remain. Secure yours today at Cardinals.com.
This is Wilson Contreras, San Luis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game, it's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands, because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody, it's our favorite song.
With the heat we have here in St. Louis, just a note, most air conditioners aren't set or able to handle 100 degrees without running constantly. So before you freak out and think your air conditioner is bad, here's a few tips. If you don't have ceiling fans in your bedrooms, you can get pedestal fans and put them in your room. Keep those running all the time. On a second-story house, put one pedestal fan on top of your steps and blow it into the foyer area up high so it's cooling the heat as it's coming up and circulating the air. If you have an attic fan, simple, quick fix, plastic bag, cut it up, and duct tape, because what's happening is it's sucking in all your attic air and the heat and humidity from the outside. Try those things before you call anybody or you call me. But if you did that, please call me, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. Remember, 0% financing is available for most up to 60 months. God bless.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 76 degrees now, 7:30. St. Louis Public Schools is rolling out about 200 new high-tech buses ahead of the first day of classes. The district signed a $30 million contract for the buses that include cameras and GPS tablets that allow students to swipe in and swipe out at each stop. There's also an app that will allow parents to track the bus's location in real time, including when their child gets on and off the bus. FEMA has extended the deadline for St. Louisans affected by the May tornado to apply for help, but not by as much as the city had hoped. The city wanted FEMA to extend the deadline from August 11th to October 10th, while FEMA's only extending it till August 26th. Mayor Kara Spencer estimates about 700 affected households have still not applied for help. In sports, Cards host the Cubs tonight. First pitch 7:15. City SC hosts Nashville tomorrow. Kickoff 7:30. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we had an accident occur westbound 70 past Jennings Station Road. That was in the right lane. Then we had a report of debris in the left lanes. So still some slow-moving traffic there, and it looks like they're trying to move whatever it is off to the right shoulder. So expect a delay, but it looks like eastbound traffic is fine through there. Eastbound 70 looks good. Now, there's an accident reported westbound 70 past Bryan Road. That's causing delays. Crews are still on the scene of the motorcycle accident westbound 364 past 94, but they've moved that off to the shoulder. And not a bad morning with those exceptions. There's a little bit of volume, though, downtown on northbound 55, headed for the Poplar Street Bridge. And let's see, if you're headed in from Illinois, we still look good downtown on the bridges. This report brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
In the 70s, baseball player Jerry Kelly decided to do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
This year, the company Jerry started decided we'd do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air and Electrical.
And electrical.
Jerry Kelly.
I love bourbons that have a story with them, and certainly Castle and Key does. I have been to their distillery there just outside of Frankfort, Kentucky, and boy, is it beautiful. You know, it was originally the home of Colonel E.H. Taylor's distillery, and now they have started making Castle and Key bourbons and ryes there starting back in 2014. So they're 11 years into this now, and they are making some fantastic juice. Let me tell you that. The Castle and Key Restoration Rye is really good. It's rye. It's a little bit on the spicy side, which I love. If you're going to have a rye, you want that apricot and syrup taste and the candied orange, the bright floral finish there at the end is outstanding. And, of course, their small batch is worth getting as well. Wherever you buy your bourbons, Schnucks, Deerbergs, Macadoodles, Total Wine, ask for it by name. Thanks to our friends at Lore Wine and Spirits, it's Castle and Key.
Ouch! Checked from behind. Man, that's gotta hurt. I'd hire Morgan & Morgan if I were them. What? Yeah, Dan, America's largest injury law firm. They serve up justice, ice, cold, law. Know what I mean? I guess. Their gloves come off when they fight for you. Okay. I'm talking a settlement slap shot. Shouldn't we be talking about the game? Yeah, Dan. Morgan & Morgan.
Proud partner of the St. Louis Blues. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
Refresh, restore, and protect your employees and customers. Call Zero Res today to clean your business the right way so your floors and surfaces stay cleaner, longer, without the harmful chemicals the other guys use. Call 314-474-2020.
The Cards, the Cubs. Siteman Cancer Center game time 7:15. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer. The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker filling in. Looking at some of the different bits on the comments section for the video live feed, which you can go find on the Marc Cox Morning Show there. Good morning to everyone else. And a couple of things that came out yesterday in the White House. There was a brief meeting where the president said, okay, we're going to look at some numbers. They're not quite released yet, but we do have some numbers. And I think that the revision we just had when it came to the job numbers are a drop in the bucket compared to the revisions that if we were to go back and look at the Biden administration, where we would sit. And there was one very interesting thing. This is clip number 11, Drew, if we can play that. Big error there from the Biden administration.
I was telling the president that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs. Mr. President, that's a gigantic error. And I don't know if she's, I'm not
It might not have been an error. That's the bad part. If it was an error, it would be one thing. I don't think it's an error. I think they did it purposely.
Okay, what are the odds that the Biden administration, and who knows if it was Joe Biden even knew what was happening, but that they purposely manipulated the data and lied in order to make themselves look better?
100%. Oh, I think that's. I think that's very likely. I mean, again, you go back to. Okay, look, I understand if you overestimate, you're off by a little bit. There's usually a grace period, right? Like even with votes, with ballots, okay, it's like a 3%, when they're doing these polls. But when you're talking about, hundreds of thousands or more than 1 million jobs that you were off by, I don't think that's an accident. I think that seems very intentional, and there's only one reason you would do it, and that was to make it seem like you guys were doing a really good job when you really weren't.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go further. We'll take a step further because, okay, if you're at 100% for this one, let's do a step further. The revisions that are happening now are to try to catch up to the mistakes they made during the Biden administration. Is it possible that's the case? Meaning the numbers that recently came out and they're trending down, they're trying to baby step their way back to where the actual numbers are as they get into it and read what's in the books.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, a couple months ago when the jobs report came out, they were expecting, I think it was like they were saying 100,000 jobs or maybe 110,000 jobs was the estimated number, and they ended up adding closer to like 130 or 140 jobs. So that was a great report. And then last month they were thinking it might be closer to 100, and it was more in the range of like 70,000. So yeah, maybe that is exactly what's happening here.
Okay, so there's a chance. So not 100%. Where'd you put the chances that's what's happening? Maybe 50, 40, 30, 20%?
Yeah, probably on
lower?
the lower side, yeah.
Okay, so then we're talking about lower chances. All right. What if hypothetically these type of dramatic changes have a negative impact on the economy, which they do? Stock markets don't like that sort
Hmm.
of thing. So the whole reason why the incentive to keep the lie going and not fully revise it is because they feel like it could crash the economy.
They wouldn't want the
But
market to adjust. Yeah,
yeah,
I think as long as they're coming out and I know what you're saying. I mean, as long as they're coming out and they're saying, like, look, this is what the Biden administration did. We're trying to fix the mess that he left us with.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
transparency. I would hope the market wouldn't react as dramatically having that information now. I guess people can decide whether or not they believe that, because certainly the Democrats will say, well, that's not true. The Biden administration, they were effective and they did all this stuff. And you guys are just, Biden haters.
No, no. I mean, looking at it by the numbers, I believe Steve Moore, who's with the Heritage Foundation, was telling the truth there. I really do. I think that with the way they're doing and analyzing this data, they're realizing very quickly that they might not be telling the whole truth here. One other thing that came out there, which was kind of interesting, Larry Kudlow said the gloom and doom about inflation and recession and tariffs, none of it really happened. This is clip number 7.
All the gloom and doom, tariff inflation, tariff recession, tariff catastrophe, none of that has happened, okay? And in fact, as you noted earlier, the tariff revenues are pouring in, okay? He could do as much as $400 billion this year alone in tariff revenue.
Yeah. And, people are quick to point out, they'll say, well, that's just a tax on the American people. Well, they'll say that. Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. If you're buying all of your goods from foreign entities, then they have to charge more in order to make a profit. Thus, you're paying that extra bit that they're paying on tariffs, meaning the increased cost of the product. The flip side of this is if you start buying American-made products that don't have the same tariff restrictions, or let's say the tariff restrictions are lower for some other countries, meaning you might shift your costs somewhere else so it drops it down to more friendly nations, then think of it this way. You're boosting American jobs, American manufacturing, and you're helping build your economy so you can be in control of the supply chain, which actually puts you stronger in the future. And it also incentivizes companies who may have offshore production, like Apple, to come back and invest in the United States again. And we should have learned this mistake of not bringing the companies back into the United States during the pandemic when you had such a massive disruption in the supply chain and how that jacked all the cost up.
Yeah.
Tariffs or not, it did jack the cost up because of how difficult it was. The supply was lowered greatly when you couldn't get the actual products back in the United States. That all these companies should have been moving production back here to say, we're done with this uncertainty. They didn't. They had 5 years during this time to make the plans and start and get the head start. They decided not to. This is another warning. This could happen at any given time. Bring the companies back into the United States. That's how this sort of tariff end game, I believe, is to reboost the American economy. So just like energy independence, you're much better position where you don't have to rely on your oil and natural gas from other countries, because if OPEC or some of these other places jack up the prices, then you're in trouble. Energy independence is what really helps stabilize the cost of something very important. Same thing could be said with our goods and services and our medications. Bring them back into the United States. Now you control the supply chain and you have it here. That puts you in a much better spot as opposed to playing games with other countries who can pull the rug underneath you.
Well, yeah, if they're mad at you, they'll just say we're cutting off trade with you. And I think, the big part of the tariffs would be, first of all, we've been ripped off by a lot of these countries for years and years and years. And finally, Trump is saying enough is enough. And he's been raking in billions of dollars in revenue since he's implemented these tariffs just in the last number of months. The other component of that, too, is kind of what you talked about, where you're trying to bring jobs back to America. Just this week, a couple days ago, you had Tim Cook at the White House, and he was announcing this massive investment here in the United States. And you're seeing that time and again with these big companies, a lot of these woke companies, arguably, who are saying, all right, fine, we're going to just go ahead and invest here in the United States. And that's a win for Donald Trump.
It's a win for Americans.
Exactly
Americans.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and it's so crazy if you think about how expensive Apple products are. Now, I don't have an Apple iPhone. I don't have an Apple computer, but my wife loves it. She'll only buy Apple, and it's like triple the cost of an Android phone.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
It's so expensive. Like you look at it, it's like $1,000 to get like almost a base iPhone anymore. And I don't know if there's people listening right now. That's actually not true. You can
Well,
get this one.
What's an Android?
I mean, I can go online and find stuff for like, let's say a $300 phone compared to a $1,000 phone. Like that's the difference we're talking about when it comes to cell
Are you bidding on like a super old version of an Android on eBay, and that's how you're getting the one for $300?
No, like I was just looking because it's funny. I told the story. I have a Google Pixel, an old one, and what ended up happening was in the little charger port here where you like plug it in, the actual frame of the phone cracked, so the charger doesn't stay in. So what I have to do every night on my nightstand is I have a book and I have my lamp, and I have to jam them in together so it forces it to stay.
Oh gosh, I've been
If
there.
the slightest little tiny nudge happens, the connection doesn't stay, and I have a cell phone that's not charged for the next morning. So I've been looking to buy a new one. To buy a brand new one, it's on sale, the Google Pixels. It's like $350 or something like that, or $400. If I were to buy an iPhone new, like we're talking about the latest model, we're looking at $1,000+, and you don't even have the same capabilities when it comes to, plugging in the. Either way, what I'm saying is, you pay, if you're Apple, you charge enough for your products that you can afford American workers. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You can do that. And I hope that they realize very quickly that it's going to be the benefits of being here in the United States may actually work in your benefit, because you might actually get more people like me that would be more inclined to buy your product, knowing that it's not being manufactured in China like everything else is. All right, when we come back, Kim on a Whim. Looking forward to that. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Marc Cox, 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got an accident westbound 70 past Bryan Road, and that has created a huge jam behind it. If you are westbound 70, that's what's happening. Now, we had an earlier accident westbound 70, really close to Jennings Station Road, some slow-moving traffic there. Eastbound 70 slow just east of 270. 64 looks great this morning. It's just a little bit of moderate volume around Big Bend. And eastbound 44, some moderate volume at 141. Now, northbound 55 slowing at Bayless in the construction zone there. And we look fine if you're headed in from Illinois. Northbound 55, a little slow, headed for the Poplar Street Bridge. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
From border security to school choice, the Constitution to the culture war. Made in America. Heard in the Midwest. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Are a horrible situation for homeowners. You want to keep your stuff dry, but every time it really rains and soaks that soil, you start getting water seeping in. There's a lot of pressure in the soil around your foundation. My friend Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repairs understands that. He knows how to fix it. And if you're having problems, I'm going to recommend you give him a call. 314-227-9636. You know, he tells me that through the course of a foundation's life, the soil shifts a lot, and it puts different pressure on different spots. Matt can come in and eyeball that because he's a specialist. He's the guy you'll be dealing with, not some salesperson. He's the owner. He'll come out, he'll fix it, and afterwards he will give you a lifetime warranty on that work. You can take that to the bank. Call him today at 314-227-9636. Tell him Marc Cox sent you. Go to his website as well at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
You're back with Marc Cox and Kim St. Onge. The Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk. Kim on a whim.
This shouldn't surprise any of us at this point, but it's still equally as frustrating when you have this liberal district judge, okay? This is U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams, appointed by Obama back in, I believe, 2011.
The way you said his name.
Obama. I'm so frustrated about this, okay? So this is a federal judge who's ordered a temporary halt to construction at Alligator Alcatraz. Now, this isn't stopping them from holding these illegals, but what it is doing is they're saying you can't add any new infrastructure capacity for at least 14 days. So that would be, no new lighting, no paving, nothing, no new construction. It's just, I guess what's infuriating to me about this is that you have the Supreme Court ruling talking about these district judges who are issuing these nationwide injunctions that are having massive impacts. And I understand that this is specific to Florida, but it's frustrating that these district judges, these liberal judges, where they're able to just judge shop, are able to do something that has such a broad impact, because these are illegals they're bringing from across the country, and they're just housing them here at Alligator Alcatraz. And it blows my mind that they're able to do this, considering we had the Supreme Court ruling. And we know that this will get challenged. The Attorney General out of Florida is already saying they're going to challenge it. But it's very effective because it does delay the Trump administration from being able to accomplish what they want, which is exactly, that's what these judges are trying to do ultimately, because that's all they really can do is just delay.
Right. I understand that everything you do is going to be challenged from here on out. They're going to do it as a way to try to sandbag the administration. They did it during his first term. Every single thing he did, they tried to sandbag the progress that was being made. So deportations are going to continue.
Yep.
We are going to have to hold people for a certain amount of time during the deportation process. There's going to be a place where those people are held. There's places across the country, normally former prisons that were decommissioned, that they are rebuilding in a way to try to hold people. And states are welcoming of this because it's a lot of money, because the people that are putting these together, private or not, it's bringing in almost a temporary jobs. It's bringing in construction, and people are working to get these things up and ready. So they're looking at it as a welcome thing. And same thing in Florida, looked at as a welcome thing. And plus, if you're looking at places down south and where the transportation of where these individuals would be going towards, you're looking at a central hub area that's probably going to be very well, it's not centralized, I'll use that word again, because just based on where the immigration is coming from in some ways, and where there are a lot of high concentrations of it, that in Texas you're going to find would be popular hotspots for it. So this is like a no-brainer. I don't know why a judge wouldn't immediately strike this down, because the administration has absolute authority to do this.
Well, and they're trying to build Indiana's own version of Alligator Alcatraz, and that this whole situation is going to play out there as well. You're going to have these liberal judges who issue these injunctions, and it's going to pause construction or do something to try to hinder the Trump administration from trying to detain these illegals. And this is, in my opinion, the biggest issue that people were passionate about leading up to the 2024 election. I believe this is what ultimately got Donald Trump elected. Sure, there were other things like his stance on the economy and everything else that played into why he had so many votes and won all the swing states, but immigration is a concern for a lot of people. Even some liberals are concerned about all the crime, and you hear about these situations where it's like, okay, someone's beaten, okay, someone's shot, and then you look at who's been arrested. What do you know? It's another illegal.
Yeah, I look at it as we've gone through decades where we've inched and inched and inched, and what do they say? You give them an inch, they take a mile.
Yard. Yeah.
Yeah. It's time to even the playing field. I think that's where a lot of people felt in a lot of different parts of, immigration. Time to level the playing field. We know we have immigration law that is not being enforced. In fact, we have to retroactively go back and enforce it. That's why we had the courts come in and have deportation. They refuse it or decide to ignore it. We got to even this, so at least at some point we're back to the standard, which is our immigration laws are being enforced. So this is part of it. We think about it with the economy. We've had issues now with the census. I think Donald Trump. It's going to be a real interesting thing with the census. I know we talked and we discussed this yesterday with it, meaning redistricting. Meaning, are there congressional seats where they included illegal immigrants in order to bolster Democratic seats inside of Congress? And if you were to take those away, I think it was Stephen Miller said that roughly 25 to 35 seats would be eliminated for the Democrats in Congress. It was a pretty large number. The manipulation that was being done in order to include illegal immigrants that shouldn't be voting to begin with, but putting them in districts where they're overpopulated and represented in order to shift the demographics of those areas in a way to gerrymandered Democratic districts. So the thing that I thought about a little bit too is how is that going to mess with funding? So let's say they go back into the census and you're basing your funding on, public transportation and schools and all of these things based on numbers that didn't justify to begin with. So now places like in California, where we're heavily reliant on the federal government to give them money to support illegal immigrants, aren't going to see that money flowing in anymore. They're going to have to make it up somewhere. How's that going to impact them? But essentially, they were stealing that to begin with because they weren't, shouldn't have been getting it to begin with. So
exactly.
It's a lot of leveling, and leveling the playing field is what we're seeing right now. And there are some growing pains with it, but I think a lot of people believe it's necessary. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Trucking accidents can change your life in an instant. The injuries, the bills, the stress. It's overwhelming. That's why you need a legal team that understands what you're going through and knows how to fight for what you deserve. At Kaufman Townsley, we've helped real people in St. Louis get real results after serious truck crashes. We know the roads, we know the law, and we know how to win. Kaufman Townsley. Real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true, people are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
They might meet at the end of next week. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin working to finalize a time and place. As the president keeps trying to stop the war in Ukraine, its leader would not be part of these talks.
Meantime, today is the deadline for Putin to agree to peace negotiations or face those sweeping sanctions, including secondary sanctions on countries doing business with Russia, which would be a big deal for Russian oil buyers like China and India. President Trump has not indicated whether he'll move the deadline amid efforts to arrange this summit.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Israel's security cabinet's approved a plan to escalate the war against Hamas by taking over Gaza City, which Hamas calls a war crime. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee tells Fox that's absurd.
They cannot let this continue to go on. We saw the videos last weekend of hostages. You want to talk about starvation and hunger? The hostages are starving.
It's believed Hamas still has 20 hostages that are still alive. Some of their families are protesting the new Israeli plan for Gaza, fearing hostage deaths. Dozens of Democratic lawmakers who left Texas to block a vote on congressional redistricting that could give the GOP 5 more House seats are being warned to return or else.
They show up today, we're all happy, we can get our business done, and everybody's good. If they do not show up, we will be in an Illinois courtroom.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton tells Fox the Democrats could be jailed and they may try to remove him from office. Democrats say they've broken no laws blocking a vote. Another wildfire is burning in California. It grew fast and it's out of control.
Within that hour and a half, we have flames all over up here in the mountains.
More than 2,000 people under evacuation orders around the L.A. and Ventura County line, about 4,800 acres of burn. They just arrested a suspected gunman in Ohio after a manhunt all morning. He was wanted for shooting and wounding 2 police officers in East Cleveland last night. They're in stable condition. So are 2 Pennsylvania state troopers the day after they were ambushed and wounded near Thompson, north of Philadelphia, responding to a deadly shooting. The gunman was killed in a standoff with police. America's listening to Fox News.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Good morning. Welcome into Friday. I'm Kim Sainanj for 97.1 FM Talk. 76 degrees now, 8:03. 2 people are dead after a helicopter crashed into a barge on the Mississippi River near Alton, Illinois. The crash happened around 11 o'clock Thursday morning. Ameren says an Ameren contractor and subcontractor were there in the helicopter trying to work on power lines at the time. It reportedly hit one of the power lines, causing the helicopter to catch fire and crash. St. Louis police are looking for the owner of 3 dogs that attacked a man walking at Forest Park. The victim says the owner of those dogs was playing with them off leash Wednesday night when those dogs ran up and bit him in the legs and arm. According to investigators, after the attack, the dog's owner just simply packed up the dogs in the car and drove off. A 16-year-old boy is behind bars after police say he carjacked 2 rideshare drivers at gunpoint within 48 hours. The first incident happened Tuesday in North City. The teen and the 3 others involved were released to the parents the next day. Well, then on Thursday, police say the same 16-year-old carjacked another rideshare driver in North St. Louis. The teens involved in this incident are still on the run. In sports, Cards host the Cubs tonight. First pitch 7:15. They'll play again tomorrow and then wrap up the series on Sunday. Meanwhile, City SC hosts Nashville tomorrow. Kickoff is 7:30. 8:04 and 76 degrees. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, not bad right now. If you are eastbound on 70, things look great from Forestell into downtown. 6440 is in good shape as well. Now, there's some moderate volume at the inner belt, but that's about it. Westbound, a little slow at Clayton Skinker. Northbound 55 is slow, just past the 44 split to just past the Poplar Street Bridge. And then things open up and look fine. Now, if you're headed in from Illinois, things actually look really good on the bridges downtown. We've had light traffic through there today. This report brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Do you know if you have enough money saved for retirement? Because this is an important question. I find that you get closer to retirement, you think, all right, I've been saving. But if you do not have a plan, how do you know whether that money is going to last you through retirement? And the other thing is, I don't think the average person knows, I certainly didn't, about tax code and how you can make that work to your advantage in retirement. Do you know when to take Social Security? And you can read about it, but is that accurate? Oh, this is why I like Financial and Tax Architects. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And part of what they do is teach you how things work. They put on a class called Retirement Planning 101, and they hold these at colleges throughout the St. Louis area. And they teach you some of these things. And then you can say, oh, you know what, that's really helpful. I do want them to help me through retirement. They'll come up with a plan that is specified for your goals and values. But first, learn. So you have to register. Call 314-888-5101, 314-888-5101.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We are back to the August thing all weekend long and into next week. It's sunny, it's hot, it's humid on this Friday. It's not super extreme going out the door this morning, but plan on it this afternoon. 95 for the high. Tonight, clear, warm, humid, 76. Saturday, sunny, hot and humid, 95, 76 Saturday night. Sunday, mostly sunny and 93. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
76 now and sunny downtown at the Arch. 8:07 is our time. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere by downloading the free Odyssey app.
Point Pest Control is reminding you it's time to spray for mosquitoes. How can something that tiny interrupt your outside gatherings? Have Point Pest Control spray today so your next outside gathering is mosquito-free. 636-798-0023. Mention Annie to save an additional 10%. PointPestControl.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Marc Cox. Got another hour here. It's been a fun week, Kim.
It has been a good week.
I tell you,
there's always
really
news
enjoyed
going
it.
on.
So much news going on. Do you know if Mark is back on Monday?
He is, yep.
Okay, perfect. So you don't have to vote at the end of the show. There's
Thank
no way I'm
goodness.
coming back on Monday.
Hey, you know, Jim Carafano said that
Not
you
again.
were an upgrade.
I don't know if he meant that, though. I think he was being polite. I think he was being polite. Is that funny or what? Well, I mean, there's a lot going on. And last night, Greg Gutfeld was on Jimmy Fallon's show. We only played one clip. We can play a couple more here. But before we get to that, let's go to the short list.
The Marc Cox short list.
The Democrats win the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2028, which is not impossible.
It's not impossible, but James Carville, the raging Cajun, is saying that, okay, Democrats need to win out. They need to win the president. They need to win the Senate. They need to win the House. And if they do, let's add Puerto Rico and D.C. to the states. And if we get that, then we can expand the Supreme Court of the United States. This was kind of their master plan that failed the last time around. So I think this also needs to fail again.
200th day in office. This is 200 days already. Time flies.
Time flies when you're having fun. I know what that means. You know, Donald Trump has 200 days in office. I have 5 days on the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Hoping that we can have gender affirming care for our trans kids.
If you haven't seen Nancy Pelosi recently, look up that side of the road press conference she decided to give. Oh boy, she looked a little rough. So let's say it that way. So they were talking about how they have trans flags in Congress, and she is doing everything she can to make sure there is quote unquote affirming care for trans children, and she's doing everything she can on the federal level. So let's keep that in mind. That is still something that they are actively fighting for.
There's no way that between now and the 26th election that you could conduct another census, be accurate in the outcome.
Okay, so it's not going to be there. I guess this is Karl Rove saying that it would just be too hard to release new alternative census that does not include the data for illegal immigrants, meaning it's omitted in the sense they're using it to draw districts. So is he saying it's just too close to impossible? Sure. But again, you are evening the playing field and putting it back to where it was intended to be to begin with. May not be good for this one, may be good for the maybe next presidential election, I guess, if you wanted to put that sort of timetable on it. All right, Kim, you missed Greg Gutfeld on Fallon last night. So did I. I mean, who stays up late when you have to wake up early anyway?
Especially to watch Fallon. I mean, the only reason I would watch the Tonight Show would be to see Greg Gutfeld.
What's the latest you'll stay up on a work night?
I mean, I think one time I stayed up when the Blues were playing, and we had that awful loss. Remember that with like the 1 second to go? I think I was up till like
last
10.
Season.
That's late, 10:30. Now that's like, so I'll get in bed, by 8:30, 9, but often I don't fall asleep till 10 or later.
Oh, wow. You're in the bed a long time before you fall
Well,
asleep.
more so being pregnant lately, but yeah, I mean, typically I'll still be, you kind of toss and turn.
Do you have is it the Snuggle pillow that helps you sleep at night?
You mean the body pillow for the pregnancy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like, it's kind of obnoxiously big, but yeah.
It is. It's almost a you got to have it type of deal. My wife had it. She used it, and she says she loved it. It kind of helped. The pillow helped curve around your body a little, make it more comfortable in the bed at night.
Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable when you're trying to shift from, it's like a bowling ball attached to your stomach, and you're trying to, go from one side to the other, and it's not pleasant.
Yeah. I'm lucky. I can fall asleep almost immediately if I have to. Not like I used to. When I was younger, I used to be able to do it very easily. But the older I got, a little bit harder it is, but I can still fall asleep quickly. And when the nights hit where you can't fall asleep, I realize how frustrating it has to be for people who can't fall asleep when they're trying to. I wouldn't trade that for anything. Like if they said, we'll put you in perfect health for your body. Like you would look like a supermodel, but you're going to sleep terrible. I wouldn't take that deal.
Yeah, sleep is so crucial, and it is so frustrating when you can't fall asleep. I don't always have that issue. I feel like I'm a decent sleeper now, but man, I've dealt with insomnia in the past, and if you have consecutive days of no sleep, it wrecks you.
Yeah. So if you wanted to fall asleep, normally you would watch Jimmy Fallon, but last night you may have actually stayed up to enjoy it because Greg Gutfeld was the guest. So we played earlier how Greg met Jimmy Fallon at a bar, and if you missed that, you can use the Odyssey app to rewind to the start of the show. But how about this? How about when Greg Gutfeld talks about his career and the way he found his way into Fox? So this is clip number 17.
I've been fired a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm telling you at home, you think firing is bad?
Yeah.
It's the best thing in the world. People think, oh my God, I'm fired. What am I going to do? You always end up someplace better. So I got fired from Men's Health, where I was the king of abs for the 90s. If you remember 5 Minutes to Flat Abs,
yes.
I wrote that.
Wow.
Yes.
That was you.
Yes. And then 6 Steps to a Firm Belly was my sequel.
Wow.
Which was actually, I just rewrote the first one, which is what they do.
Cornering the market on how to get abs.
I was raising a family of abs. But anyway, so got fired from there. Stuff Magazine was there for a couple of years.
Love Stuff Magazine.
Yeah, it was amazing. Got fired from there. Then went to Men's Health. Went to Maxim. Had to leave the country for, let's not get into that.
My God.
In the UK, and got fired from that. And so I was just sitting at a bar in Chelsea, and a friend says, there's a Fox that wants to do a late night show. Are you interested? And I'm like, dude, I'm broke, so I will do anything. So they flew me over, and I started doing this show, Red Eye.
Yeah, Red Eye.
Yeah, and so I got there, and they said, I go, yeah, so we're gonna start rehearsing. And everybody goes, no, we're starting in 3 days. And we rehearsed in the green room. Everybody was drunk. Everybody was drunk, even the cameraman. And so it airs at 2 a.m.
There you go.
But they felt that it was too edgy for 2 a.m.
What?
So they moved it to 3.
That's better.
All right, Kim, what do you think of that career path of Greg Gutfeld? Isn't that
wow.
typical of most broadcasters, though?
I mean, it is kind of cool to hear a story like that where you had a lot of what some people would call failures, and then look where he is now.
Yeah, falling up in a lot of different ways. And that's kind of, I sympathize and totally understand that, too. It seems like, the times that I lost a job, I found a better job after it. And Greg's right on. He's like, you'll find something better. That happens to a lot of people. I mean, almost always, it seems like. He makes it sound like it happens 100% of the time. But not always, but sometimes. I mean, it does happen a lot.
That would happen to me. I lost my job, like I said, at KMOV, and I like radio a lot more.
It's so much better, isn't it?
It really is.
So much more real. Do you feel it's less phony?
Oh, yeah. I mean, less phony just because you actually have time to let a topic breathe. Before, with TV, you're limited to, you have 30 seconds and you have to hit it. Versus here, you and we can actually talk about a topic and do deep dives into it. And it's just, to me, it's such a better format. And it's so much more relaxed. And I just appreciate it a lot more.
So if anyone's wondering, the interview was maybe about 10 minutes long. It seemed like the audience wasn't super into it, but they did laugh at times. They have the clip on YouTube. So if you want to go back and actually watch it there, that is a good way for you to do it. It's like 8 or 10 minutes, I think, for the full interview. There it is, Greg Gutfeld on Fallon. Who knows? Maybe he'll make it back sometime, but Greg Gutfeld is the king. Maybe Jimmy Fallon will go on his show. Wouldn't that be something to see Jimmy Fallon on Greg Gutfeld's show?
He would get booed.
You think so? No, he wouldn't get booed.
No, you don't think so? Maybe not.
He doesn't have the same audience style, but I feel like they can bring on people that they disagree with and they still be fine with it because it's in the spirit of that type of atmosphere, that show, and it works out pretty well. All right, do we have the Queen of Hearts drawing coming up after
we'll do
the
that
break?
next segment. Yep.
Ooh, that's a big one. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Mark Cox, excuse me. I said Mark Reardon.
Come on,
I did like 3 weeks of Mark Reardon fill-ins. And you know what? I feel like that's the first time I've said that all week long. I guess I'll be looking for another job soon. 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, we look pretty good. In fact, there's just a little bit of volume downtown, westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge and northbound 55 underneath it. Actually, wait a minute. I am zooming in to see it's actually eastbound traffic on the Poplar that's a little slow at Route 3. Could be an incident there that just hasn't been reported yet. And 55 is slow on either side of the Poplar Street Bridge on the Missouri side. But that's about it. I do want to mention the road work coming up. Crews with the Improve the I-70 Warrenton to Wentzville project are going to close the eastbound 70 exit ramp at the Forestdale interchange from 9 o'clock tonight till 9 a.m. tomorrow. They're going to be installing a culvert for that new interchange, and this, of course, is all to accommodate a third lane in each direction of I-70. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Visit MissouriBrushControl.com.
Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property, manage vegetation, and clear land for better views. Enjoy your land the way you always dreamed of. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again.
Time is running out. I don't want you to miss this opportunity at the Range St. Louis West because, of course, they are going to give you an opportunity to get $500 toward the cost of a new suppressor. Now, part of the cost of a suppressor is the tax stamp you have to buy. Remember, the big, beautiful bill is going to eliminate that, but not until next January. So they decided to hold a sweepstakes for my listeners only. You go to therangestl.com/971. You can register for the drawing, for the sweepstakes. One winner will get $300 credit toward a new suppressor, and the range will pay the $200 tax stamp. You can't beat that. $500 toward a suppressor at the range because they are great Americans. Again, they're going to draw this on August 15th. Go visit them, 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin, or register online at therangestl.com/971.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine, and you could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt, but you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market for a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Well, not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. And listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. So that's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. You cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. So imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt and stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. You get an all-cash offer now by calling 1-855-300-9993. You can also visit TrueHold.com, the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Truth, backbone. Marc Cox on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis conservative. Guns N' Hoses Queen of Hearts, benefiting the St. Louis Backstoppers.
All right, we got ourselves our Friday winner, which is pretty exciting. This is the 5 of spades, slot number 8. So ticket number 297816283. So 5 of spades, slot number 8. Winner today, $25.
And the
Projected jackpot.
Yeah, that's getting high.
Almost $4,000,
Yeah.
$3,940. So the next drawing is on August 15th. And if you're wondering what this is all about, if you go to stlgunsandhoses.com, you can find the information on there. But the St. Louis Guns and Hoses Boxing Association selling the $5 online tickets for the Progressive Queen of Hearts e-raffle. 100% of the proceeds go to Backstoppers to benefit the families of officers killed or injured in the line of duty. So that is a very worthy and fantastic cause, Guns N' Hoses. And tickets are $5. So Queen of Hearts raffle. STLgunsandhoses.com. You get the information right there. Congratulations to that winner, $25. That's pretty good.
I'd like that jackpot. We get half of the jackpot if it's the Queen of Hearts, but that would be,
yeah,
I'd like that.
That would be nice little bonus. Wouldn't that be a nice bonus to get a Friday morning? I would like that. I'd like that a lot. There's a couple of things I wanted to get to. And one thing is this one woman down in Florida that was charged with posing as a nurse and treating more than 4,000 patients before they figured it out. Why does this happen so often? It seems like every community has someone that is posing as a nurse, working uncertified, and they're in with patients. Why? Why would you imitate that? Why would you lie about that? That's such a dangerous thing to lie about.
You're mentally ill. But how does this stuff happen? I mean, I know I have friends who are nurses, and they talk about how you'll have nurses who basically float from different floors. So it's hard to get to know each staffer. So you might never really know the name of the people that you're working with because every day you're on a different floor with a different, set of people. But it's like, how does this happen? How does somebody get away with this? That's what blows my mind. I can understand, a couple hours they were able to do this. But no, when people are able to lie about this for that long, that's very, very concerning.
It's like schools when you find out that someone on the sex offender list got a job. And you're like, what? How did that happen? Like, how is that person working? And sometimes it's like 2 years into them working there, they find out it's delayed. How is that possible? You'd think that would be a pretty easy thing to do. I wonder, are we just more relaxed on background checks? We just like, we got a good vibe by that guy. He's cool. He seems all right.
Seems nice. I checked out his Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook's fine. Guys, what are you talking about? Facebook's fine.
There was a, I forget, I think it was out of Connecticut. There was a story where there was a homeless person who was in a hospital and managed to sleep in the hospital and was actually going into patient rooms And this was going on for days and days and days. That's what's crazy to me is how is this happening? How is nobody realizing that this person is sleeping in random beds and going into patient rooms? Oh my God. I mean, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen because you have patient confidentiality and just, oh my God, it's a mess.
Yeah. All right. Here's a future headline for you. I'm already laughing because it's such a stupid premise. Imagine 2 years down the line, working at a hospital as a nurse, you realize that you have hired former Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, and you forgot to do the background check, and now he's working at your hospital. Wouldn't that be something? So the Trump administration has offered a $50 million reward leading to the arrest of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, and he's hated down there big time. He pretty much forced his way in and devalued the money, and Venezuela was one, if you go back 30 years, and especially the 90s and such, with all the oil that they had, the potential to be a super rich nation. We're talking like Saudi rich. I mean, they had all the potential there. And I knew people that lived down in Venezuela, and I would talk to them, and they said one day things were pretty good. The next day Maduro was in, and we owned nothing. Like it just became communist overnight. And the business that the family owned was now operated by the government, and the money was worth nothing. And then you fast forward maybe 6 months later, and you have women that were in professions like doctors that were performing acts of prostitution because they needed money for their family. And that was the only way they can get it. And some of them crossing the border in order to do that. And by the time they came back, any money that they may have gained could have been stolen from them as they returned. And that's the dire, terrible situation Venezuela was in. Trump administration tried to address it in the first term. I know Mike Pence was hard on it too. But you know what? I know that he was still able to operate and force his way and stay in, and he was wanted. I don't know why it took so long, honestly, to try to force this out. So the Trump administration offering a $50 million reward leading to the arrest of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro. Shame, shame, shame. Do you know much about that story, Venezuela, and how they were eating animals from the zoo? And I think that's how bad it was down there.
I know. I've heard that. It's great. I hadn't heard it when it happened, but Mark and I were talking about that one day recently, and oh man, can you imagine that happening here in St. Louis? People just start going into the zoo and eating the animals because, I mean, man, desperate times call for desperate measures. People would do it. If things were so bad here, oh my gosh, can you imagine? People have to survive.
Was it Denmark or Sweden? Which zoo was asking for your old...
I think Denmark.
Yeah.
Your pets.
So
Your healthy
Venezuela said,
pets. If you can't have them
you're
for some reason, like I guess they're acting up or they don't jive with your kids or your other pets, just give them to the zoo animals. Yeah, let them eat them.
So I heard Venezuela said, forget feeding the animals up there in Denmark. Send them down here.
Yeah, really.
We got hungry people down here.
We'll take the guinea pigs. We'll cook them up.
You ever see
air fry them?
Air fry them. Oh man,
it can't be worse than
honey.
spam.
You're not going to believe this. Yeah, you thought that was spam? No.
Guinea pig for dinner tonight.
Actually, you know that one stray cat in the neighborhood that everyone was trying to get rid of? Honey, you're not going to believe this, but we found a way to get around the expensive, cost gouging spam industry.
People with cats right now are like, can you believe that Ryan Record's talking about that?
Oh, you want me to go worse on cats? I think cats are evil. I think that inherently all cats are evil. And only dogs are the acceptable animal to have inside of a house.
I'll just say I'm a dog fan. That's what I'll leave it at.
Oh, you don't want to upset cat lovers?
I'm not a big cat fan. There are some that are okay. But some they just walk around meowing for no reason. I don't like that.
Yeah. I found you make a lot of enemies when you give your true feelings on cats, so I've been told not to do it. My wife said, stop making enemies with people when you don't need to. Like, just leave the cats alone. All right, we're going to talk to Fox News Radio, Michelle Pollino, coming up about South Park after the break. 97.1 FM Talk.
August is a fantastic time to get out to my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge. They're in the Chesterfield Valley, right in the district, just down from the hub. If you've been out there, you're going to love it. Here's what they got going on. They have a single barrel tasting event coming up on August 13th. Now, you have to buy a ticket for it, but you get a lot of samples of their barrel picks, plus all their great cigars they've got in there that night. Coming up on August 22nd, at Lit Cigar Lounge. They're doing their cars and cigars. Now, this is fantastic. They're going to have a bunch of exotic car dealers and supercars and local car clubs out in the parking lot. And then inside the cigar lounge, they're going to have the folks from Drew Estate Cigars that night. They're going to have cocktail specials. This is a special place. It's where luxury meets comfort, and they've got an extensive selection of bourbons and craft cocktails and, of course, great cigars. Check them out online. Tell them Marc Cox sent you. Go to litstl.com.
The smartest way to do your homework is Hackman Lumber.
Warm weather means homework for homeowners, and for 80 years, Hackman Lumber has been a trusted name for home improvement. If your homework means a new deck, turn to the deck experts at Hackman Lumber. Browse the largest inventory of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. Talk with their experts about treated lumber, cedar, TimberTech, Trex, Envision, AZEK, and Decorators to find the perfect deck for you. Choose from endless railings, balusters, and LED deck lighting options. And they will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Hackman has you covered. Building a new fence or replacing an old one? Hackman Lumber now carries in stock Eastern Red Cedar, the perfect choice for long-lasting, beautiful landscaping. Inventory includes 4x4 and 6x6 posts, dog ear pickets, and 2x4 framing. Homeowners and pros will find everything they need to build it right the first time. Visit Hackman Lumber's newly remodeled stores in St. Peters, Pacific, and Troy, Missouri.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. J.P. Morgan now expects the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates by 25 basis points at its September meeting, citing signs of weakness in the labor market and uncertainty around President Trump's latest Fed nomination. The brokerage had earlier forecast one 25 basis point rate cut in December. President Trump said he will nominate Stephen Murray, the head of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, to fill a vacancy of the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors on a short-term basis. The president added that Murray will fill the role until the term expires in January. Firefly Aerospace has secured a valuation of nearly $10 billion after its shares surged more than 55% in their NASDAQ debut. This comes as investors continue to pour capital into companies aiding expansion of the U.S. space and defense program. Shares of the Texas-based firm went as high as $71.16 apiece. Futures are slightly higher. Thursday, the Dow Industrials lost 224, the NASDAQ up 73. That's Your Money Now.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, we've had a really pretty good commute this morning, and this continues to be the case. You never know what will happen on a Friday afternoon, but generally, Friday mornings are great, especially in the summer. Now, of course, having said that, 70 looks great, really no delays from out west into downtown, but we've got a jam on eastbound 64 east of Winghaven. So if you are traveling out there, I'm not sure whether it's an accident or what is happening, but boy, is there a delay in that area. Now, once you get just east of there, things open up and look fine all the way into downtown. Northbound 270 is in good shape. Now, there's a little bit of a slowdown on Manchester. We've got an accident reported, and this is west of 141 near Sulphur Springs. So a slow go in both directions out there. 55, though, is in great shape. No delays on the Illinois side. In fact, we look great over there. This report brought to you by Infinite Vitality. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Most of us do not know all the ways to get the most out of the system in retirement. I mean, we know to save, and that's great. That's good. But I like to understand how things work. And this is something that financial and tax architects agree with me on.
Tired of aging
What
skin?
they
Infinite
do
vitality.
what they do is have a class where you can sit down and learn some of these things, and they teach it. They've got people in their organization who are really good at teaching, and they will sit down and explain some of this. Here's how you can avoid costly mistakes. Here's how to maximize your income. And they can tailor a plan specifically to your goals and your values and the amount of money you have. It is someone who will help you make the money you did save go all the way through retirement. Oh, I just think it's so smart to learn about it. So go to FTA-RIA, FTA-RIA.com, and sign up for a class. And then I'm thinking you will feel better about it, and you can learn from there.
Tired of aging skin? Infinite Vitality reverses collagen loss, tightens with Morpheus and microneedling, and fades age spots. Look naturally younger, not plastic. Visit infinite-vitality.com. Mention Annie for a $50 credit.
You hear me give reviews for Rhino Shield all the time. It's great to read them from someone else. You know, my friend Darren sends me these when he gets them in, and oftentimes they are exactly what I experienced, right? Great service by the crew that showed up to get the work done when they're there to put Rhino Shield on. They're getting the prep done. They're there for probably 4, maybe 5 days. And when they're done, you have about 25 years to not worry about it. At least that was the experience on my house. And when you read these Google reviews, you're going to see the exact same. Darren will go out and do condos or churches. He's happy to take a look at your product and tell you whether or not he's able to help you or not. But this stuff goes on brick, block, aluminum, steel, hardy cement board, stucco, and so many other things. He'll be honest with you. Call today for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO or online at 877-25rhino.com.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, but our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker filling in. Joining us now from Fox News Radio, Michelle Pollino. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
Good. A lot of buildup for this season of South Park. A lot of controversy building up to it as well. They had a pretty big episode where I've seen some clips, but I haven't seen the full episode yet. Mocking Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and broadcaster Charlie Kirk. So far, the reaction has been, I guess, as expected in some ways. Kristi Noem said it was kind of a lazy portrayal. So what do you make of all of this controversy going around?
Well, it's interesting. I think most of all that Trump is not attacking them. I'm finding that part interesting. The White House put a statement out the first episode, saying it's ridiculous. Kristi Noem, saying something this time. I find it interesting, and I'm also looking at the numbers. I guess they got 5 million the first time around. That's not high for South Park, not high at all. Gutfeld gets about $3 million. I find it just watching the culture change from being controlled by the Democrats for so long, Hollywood being controlled by the Democrats for so long, and Trump really changing the game. Comedy Central kind of attacking him, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, and I think it's a good thing that Trump is actually staying away in many ways. I think he normally would just he would just viscerally attack them. The fact that he's just staying away and letting them do this is fascinating at this moment. He knows that the tides have turned. The culture is now in his hands. And, part of what South Park is doing is saying, we're going to attack this guy because he made it rough for us in this whole Paramount transition, and he's suing all these news magazines. And I think that they are going to fall. I think they are going to fall just like everybody else who's tried to attack Trump. I think that's how he wins.
See, I think that's my take, too, because Stephen Colbert's show, I believe, is being canceled because his ratings are in the tank. He's being paid millions of dollars, and he's not returning it with the number of viewers. And I think people are sick and tired of him just every single night he'd go on there and he would just slam Trump, and it gets kind of old. And so to your point, Michelle, it seems as though maybe this is funny in the very beginning. I mean, I watched the Charlie Kirk one, and I mean, this is kind of funny. Spoof that they did, but this can't be a long-term strategy because people will just get sick of it. And I've never been a South Park fan, but it seems as though the larger part of their base would it be the conservatives? Do we have any idea who's even watching South Park?
Well, South Park. No, we don't. Like I said, they have about 5 million viewers. Close, maybe 5 point. I think it was 5.9 that first episode. I think that it's people that watched it for a very long time. I do think it skews to the left, but culture is changing. Culture has changed, and I have my eye on this because I think it's the next. I mean, it's in the crosshairs. As soon as you start attacking Trump, and that's why I don't think he's attacking back. He's waiting to see how the people will react.
It's smart.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. So here's a couple of just general observations to it. So South Park, in many ways, found that they can mock anything, which is fine. What I found in this season, so you look at the way they led up into the season. So they have an actor who portrays Trump that gets naked, and they make a small wiener joke. And then there's a bit where there's a person painting his portrait on the wall, and it's another instance where it's a small wiener joke. And then you look at him hopping in bed with Satan, and part of it is the same bit that they did with Saddam Hussein. So, for all the people that are like, okay, Donald Trump's Hitler, well, South Park's using the comparison that Donald Trump is Saddam Hussein now. He's the new Saddam Hussein. And all of these type of comparisons, they're kind of played out. They're kind of lazy in a way. I do agree it is kind of lazy. But I also look at how a show like that used to be able to get popularity because they were kind of like funny, edgy, and smart. But it doesn't seem like they're going down there. It seems like they are chasing the controversy in order to get people to view the show, which is the wrong road to go down if you're someone as, I guess, smart when it comes to comedy as a South Park. So I felt like they may have jumped the shark now.
It seems like they might. I think that's what we're all kind of watching and waiting to see if that's really true. I mean, I'm going to keep my eye on those ratings and see if they do falter. It'll be just yet another instance of this president just by the virtue of being him takes down another cultural institution. It's just fascinating to watch. I don't know if that's going to happen with South Park. South Park also mocks woke in ways that nobody else does, and so they are riding a line, and that's what makes them great. You know, it's still funny. I don't think the Trump Satan small penis thing is funny at all, but I did find Charlie Kirk stuff good. I do find their woke stuff with Cartman amazing. So we'll see. We'll see if they.
We will.
They're really smart guys. They're really smart guys. So
yeah, and you know, I think this. When you kind of hate to question their integrity based on the process because of their track record, and they've had a tremendous run, but all runs come to an end. Are we witnessing the end of it? Meaning, this is the type of low-hanging fruit they're going for, and they're done with the smarter stuff, I guess. You know, essentially, you're making the Beavis and Butthead jokes at this point. So, and Beavis and Butthead was even more well done than South Park at this point, too. So, I think that's kind of where we're at. Michelle Pollino, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate the time.
You got it. Have a great one.
Fox News Radio talking about South Park and mocking of the president and such. I think it's fine. You know, I mentioned before back in the 2016 presidential election when they were doing the debate, some of those episodes where Mr. Garrison was playing Trump running for president against Hillary Clinton. It was unbelievable how funny and smart that was. But, you know, sometimes you wonder, have you lost it? And I think that's what they got to figure out. It doesn't mean they can't change course, or it doesn't mean they can't reinvent themselves in a better way like they've done over the years with the show. But it's an interesting strategy, bold strategy, I guess. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got a delay out west, and it really is the only serious delay at this hour. But it happens to be on eastbound 6440. And the problem is an accident past Winghaven. They've got the right lane blocked through there, and traffic is jammed almost back to Highway N. Now, once you get clear of that, things pretty well open up into downtown. Now, there was also an accident on Manchester, and it's created a little delay in both directions. Accident appears to be near Manchester and Sulphur Springs. East and westbound traffic jammed in that area. 55, though, at this hour at least looks good. Now, this weekend, crews with the Improve I-70 Warrenton to Wentzville project are going to close the eastbound 70 exit ramp at the Forestdale interchange. That will be 9 o'clock tonight until 9 a.m. tomorrow. They're going to be installing a culvert for that new interchange. This report brought to you by the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
August is Pet Appreciation Month. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129, 15% off pet odor treatments, and take $50 off air duct cleaning. Book online today at ZeroResSTL.com.
Another 5-star review for Lakeside Renovation and Design. This one's from just a week ago. It says, I had a problem caused by a contractor who repeatedly failed to come back and take care of it. Lakeside treated me like their best and only customer. Andre was a delight at troubleshooting the issues and solved the problems like it was at his own home. Thank you, Lakeside. I'm telling you, that's the kind of review that you're going to see if you just Google Lakeside Renovation and Design. You're going to understand why so many people give them a 5-star review. They have an A+ rating from the BBB. Lakeside Renovation and Design is a company you can trust that genuinely cares about getting the job done right. That's why they're not outsourcing to third parties. You're not going to have to hound the contractors to make sure they're actually showing up and doing the job that you hired them for, like you heard that gentleman talking about in his review with the other company that he initially partnered with. You need to go with a company like Lakeside that's been doing this here in the St. Louis area for about 30 years, family-owned company, big supporters of the show, which we so appreciate, and they do just about anything. So it could be an outdoor project. Maybe you want a screened-in deck, or you just want an outdoor oasis to host your family and friends, or you've been wanting to do projects inside. You started DIYing something like maybe a bathroom project and it's just not looking great. Let Lakeside turn it into your dream spa bathroom, a kitchen. Maybe you want to finish your basement. That's something you guys have probably heard me talk about that my husband and I would love to do at some point. They do windows, they do siding, and they use top quality material like James Hardy siding and Infinity from Marvin Windows because they care about using materials that are designed to last. They're not going to offer the little gimmicks. I mean, they offer fantastic deals like 18 months of no interest, but they're not going to offer those little gimmicks you hear often that usually, if they sound too good to be true, they typically are. Lakeside Renovation Design, guys, they're the real deal. Just give them a call. Even if you just have questions, they're always happy to help and answer them. It's 636-978-5000. They're online at lakesiderd.com.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
Cutting through the spin. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
All right, it's a song to put you in a good mood, isn't it?
Say, you feeling the song, Ryan? Doing a little dance?
Yeah, I am. Because it is Friday, and for a lot of us, I mean, we're just now getting into work. But for people like us, it's the end of the work
right.
week. It's pretty exciting. Yeah. Except I work again tomorrow.
Womp womp.
But I get the rest of the day off. You're telling me I should go try Shake Shack today? Is that what you're saying?
It is pretty good. Their burgers and their shakes. I mean, I'm not saying it's great for you, but it tastes great. You eat Spam, so I don't think your concern is making sure that it's the best for you.
You talk about Spam like it's dog food.
It is
dog
food. In fact, it might even be better than dog food. The dog food has like lamb and stuff in it. The Spam is just nastiness in a can.
Dog food at least has lamb and rice. Spam has
probably better.
You don't even
molded
know. Well,
meat.
I'm not even going to introduce you to Scrapple. If you can't handle Spam, you can't handle Scrapple.
What is in Spam? I'm looking this up right now.
Don't look up what's in
Canned
Scrapple.
luncheon meat. Ugh. Consists of pork shoulder and ham along with salt, water, potato starch, sugar, and sodium nitrate. Ew, you look at the picture of it opening, the can half open, and I just want to gag. The jelly stuff on the top is disgusting.
Well, you scrape that off. I told you.
Oh, that's disgusting. You have to even scrape it off. That's a problem.
Well, there's a thing that's built in the same size as Spam. It's kind of like in a gelatin block. It's called Scrapple. And Scrapple makes Spam look like health food. Let me put it that way. That's even worse.
This up. Oh, that looks disgusting too. Ugh.
It smells worse. It's worse for you, but it is so good too.
Who eats these things?
Good. I do. There's a lot of guys that eat these sort of things.
Because they don't feel like cooking? Yeah, they just want to open a can and throw it in the air fryer?
Yeah, bachelor chow it. Speaking of other things in the news, there's so many other things we didn't get to. So you saw that we talked about it, I think, on yesterday's show, maybe it was Wednesday's show, the idea that the WNBA had to do something with all these sex toys that were being thrown on the courts. So they implemented a no purse type of rule. So you can't have a carry-on bag or anything else. when you go through security, they're looking for this because they don't want this to happen. Do you think that stopped people from
No,
still
of
throwing
course
things
not.
on the court? Well, it happened again last
Are
night.
they going to say now you can't wear any clothes that have pockets?
I don't know. Women's clothing have no pockets. I thought that was the gripe that women have.
That's
Not
why
enough pockets in their
when
clothing.
you have a dress that has pockets, it's amazing.
Yeah. So it happened again. And it's interesting because the broadcasters refused to acknowledge what was happening. Now, the cameraman went and showed what was going on. Like they zoomed the camera to show that there it is. But the actual play-by-play people for the broadcast would not say what it was. Like they just want to move on from this. So there are people that are claiming they're responsible behind this sort of stoppage in play. A group of cryptocurrency traders claiming to be behind the epidemic of these things being thrown on the court during several WNBA games. An anonymous spokesperson for the group who goes by, I don't know that name, so I'm not going to read it just in case it's something I shouldn't be reading out loud, told USA Today that some crypto creators who launched the meme coin called, not going to read that either, are using it to promote their junk cryptocurrency.
Is it
I
fart
never
coin?
would have
'Cause that's
associated
apparently
it.
a thing.
Nope, it's, think about slang for these toys, and
Okay.
that's what it's based off of.
Why
And
would
at
you
least,
be proud of that? I thought there had already been 2 arrests.
I don't know about the arrest. I didn't see that part, but they use this, and it goes to show you too that these cryptocurrencies and things, what they do is they pump it out there real quickly, and then if they see people investing and they're like an owner of these, then they dump their crypto quickly to gain a lot of money, and then everyone else is now set with a worthless nothing. And celebrities got accused of doing this over and over again, where they would promote this for a hefty fee. And once their celebrity was behind this cryptocurrency, and even if they gained just a little bit, then the owners of it would just dump all their crypto, and then it would be worth nothing after that. And these people that invested money, lots of it, being told, oh, this is the next big thing, you're getting in on the ground floor, are caught losing I mean, who knows how much, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Is this what the Pelosi's were doing? This is a side hustle.
Pelosi's are a little bit different. Yeah, the Pelosi's are, no, they get, I truly believe the Pelosi's were getting, using that insider information from Nancy and using it to make decisions on how to trade their stock.
Oh,
I don't think there's any
100%.
question about that. That's another 100% certainty with that. Well, Kim, I got to say, it was so fun working with you this week. And I know that your due date is around the
Yep.
corner. So if I don't get to talk to you by then, I hope that someone reaches out to me and lets me know you're doing all right.
Thank
I
you.
can't
I'll
wait
have-
to see
I'll
the
have to
good news on
text you.
social media.
Yeah, I'll text
That
you.
would be great. So congratulations
Thank
to you and your
you.
husband on everything that's going on there. And I hope you get a little sleeper.
Thank you.
And
Thank
you
you.
defy the odds.
I hope. And thank you for filling in. It's been a fun week.
Yeah, it's been a fun week. Enjoy it. St. Louis, have a great weekend too. 97.1 FM Talk.
There's been a lot of talk about tariffs, how